It might well be the best baseball city in America, St. Louis, Missouri. And inside the new Busch Stadium, we have Rockies baseball. Tonight, it is Game 3 of the series, and the Rockies have a chance to win a series here for the first time in a long time. Here on Root Sports, it's the Rockies and St. Louis Cardinals. Hi, buddy. Jerry Schimmel pinch hitting tonight for Drew Goodman. Alongside me is Ryan Spielborgs. And Spilly, this team, the Rockies, not won a series in St. Louis since 2009. This game looming big tonight.
This is a huge game. And when you look at it, you have two of the big guys for both respective teams. Yes, you're on a very, very difficult road trip when you're going to go to Pittsburgh and Boston next. You would love, based on the series, you get that first game to win this one when you come out of here.
You know, the Rockies will turn to one of their great, young, exciting arms, John Gray, to try to get that win tonight.
Well,
right?
And he matches up perfect with Michael Wacha. These are the two guys. You got one guy projecting upward, the other guy, you're not so sure where he's going. And for John Gray, with all the wins that he just had, his very first one, he's going to have to count on his slider. And when you look at how good his slider has been, it's been remarkable. He's been using it a lot more this year, 30% of the time. That's a big increase for last year. 72% of the strikeouts have come via the slider, and it is filthy. He's been able to throw it lower in the zone, and for lefties and righties, it has been very, very effective. Part of what makes John Gray so effective, too, is when he uses the fastball command, he sets up the slider. Look at that pitch to Jamil Weeks, and Denard Span is not a guy that strikes out very often, and it works just as effectively on right-handed hitters. You see Yoenis Cespedes and then Neil Walker. It is a wipe-out slider. It ranks in the top 10 as far as the slider pitches and the whiff rates go. I'm very impressed by John Gray, but I want to see, is this the real deal? Is this the guy that's going to go out there and beat their best? So that's what I'm watching tonight.
On the other side, Ryan, a tough matchup, Michael Wacha.
Well, and Michael Wacha, we know what he's been able to do. Last start for him, he had his defense failed, and we've seen this St. Louis Cardinals defense not be very successful for him. But for him, he is a competitor. We know what he's done in the postseason, but he's one of the better guys that the Cardinals have.
You know, the pitching the first two games have been outstanding at both sides. We'll see what happens tonight in Game 3 of this series. Rockies haven't won here since their last playoff team, 2009, a series they're looking to get here in St. Louis. First pitch coming up next on Root Sports. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Bank of the West. For a personal approach to banking, go west. Bank of the West. By your hometown Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Welcome back to St. Louis, Missouri, Busch Stadium. This is actually the third Busch Stadium that is built in downtown St. Louis, and they love their Cardinals here. This is a phenomenon. This is not just Major League Baseball. This is a phenomenon. And Ryan, I know you played here a bunch. It's a lot of fun, even as a visitor to play here, correct?
It really has been a great time coming here. And even the minor league system. You go to a minor league game, Springfield Cardinals, everything about it is that people just find nostalgia behind it. They think back to their favorite Cardinals player. They think back to Stan the Man, Dizzy Dean, Red Schoendice. I got his name right for once. Bob Gibson. Great fans, and they'll let you know.
They just need to get a little more red in the ballpark. Otherwise, things are pretty good.
Yeah, more red?
Yeah, a little more red in the ballpark. Yeah, there's those great names. Jack Buck, of course, a broadcaster. Stan Musial, Slaughter. I mean, the names and the championships go on here in St. Louis. 125 years of Major League Baseball in the National League, and there are the pennants starting in 1926 and the last one in 2011. These Cardinals have been good, and they've been good for a long time. Game 3 of our series tonight, and an interesting matchup as Michael Wacha takes the mound. He'll start with Charlie Blackmon, leadoff hitter for the Rockies, and Charlie hitting the ball very well up there near 300. And let's look at the lineups brought to you by Southwest Airlines. A little bit different look for the Rockies tonight. Nolan Arenado is back in the cleanup spot for the Rockies. You see him there. Cargo's moved up to third, so that was the way the Rockies went about the first 5 weeks of the season. And then Daniel Descalso getting a start at second base. He is a former Cardinal, and Tony Walters behind the plate. So there you go. Story, Gonzalez, Arenado, Parra again. Mark Reynolds taking over at first base against the Cardinals. Let's look at Michael Wacha, Ryan, and his numbers.
Well, his numbers, they still look good, but they're not quite what Michael Wacha is accustomed to. His last 4 starts, he's lost them. Defense has failed him. Fastball command hasn't been quite where it has been for him in the past. Talk about a great changeup, good secondary pitches. But for me, his walk rate is up, home run rates are up. So when he's counting on the strikeouts, he's not getting them. He's getting walks, and he's getting hit around quite a bit.
So Michael Wacha looking for his 3rd win. He'll start with Charlie Blackmon as the Rockies trying to win a series in St. Louis for the first time since 2009. It's been a while. Great opportunity tonight to do just that. We'll need a good effort from John Gray and see if they do something offensively against Michael Wacha. Wacha, big fella, 6'6", 215 pounds, and strike 1 to Blackmon. Good to have you on board tonight. Overcast skies here tonight in St. Louis, but a wonderful night for baseball. That's a foul ball down the right field line off the bat of Blackmon. 0-2 on Charlie. Couple of hits in last night's game 2 for Blackmon. Had that triple to lead off the game and then got thrown out at home, and the Rockies couldn't score after that. 0-2 pitch. Fouled away, just protecting the strike zone.
Well, so far tonight, you can see Michael Wacha being very aggressive with his fastball. That changeup is going to be his best wipeout pitch for this young Rockies lineup.
Way upstairs on that one, got past the catcher, Molina. One ball, 2 strikes on Charlie Blackmon. 69 degrees game time here in downtown St. Louis. Wacha's pitch, swing and a miss. He went upstairs with a fastball. And let's set the defense for you for the Cardinals behind Michael Wacha tonight. Holiday, the former Rocky, in left. Grichuk in center, and Piscotty, the young outfielder, in right. Carpenter at third. Rookie Diaz at short's an interesting character. Wong at second, Adams at first, and the veteran Yadier Molina behind the plate for Michael Wacha. One away for Trevor Story. Trevor 2 for 9 in the first 2 games of the series. A look at a pitch outside.
I was reading some of the post-game comments from Adam Wainwright last night, who had his best start of the season, and he said he made a couple adjustments. His curveball's back, and he said now he's dangerous. And that's something you want to try to avoid now if you add Michael Wacha to it, somebody who's been struggling this year. Hasn't had a lot of run support, less than 2 runs a game. But at home, he's been very good. But as a group, you don't want to see this Cardinals team start to build their confidence on this Rockies team.
It's a strike call to Trevor Story. So Walker working ahead of Story as well, 1-2. It's interesting. Ryan says that, and he's right. The Cardinals haven't scored a lot of runs for Walker, but it's a good offensive team. They're second in the National League in runs scored. And Story stays away from that pitch high and outside.
Well, both teams came into this series scoring a lot of runs, and you look at the amount of scoring they've had this weekend or this week, and not a lot of offense.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He got Story as well on a high fastball. Last night we saw Adam Wainwright throw maybe 92 topping out. This guy a little more velocity today.
Well, Michael Wacha is going to be challenging the Rockies hitters. He can locate the fastball. This one above the belt ties up Trevor Story, but you can see the aggressiveness with Michael Wacha coming after the Rockies hitters.
So 2 outs, both on strikeouts, and here's Gonzalez slumping a bit. He's 0 for 8 in the series, and he'll hit that one foul in that homestand that the Rockies had, where they had success toward the end. 4 for 21 for Cargo. 0-1 pitch to Gonzalez. He'll lay off that off-speed pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Cargo had a .333 batting average May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, but since then he's 6 for 43. That's a .140 batting average.
Trying to find the stroke. He had a great game on Sunday. He had a home run and a double in that win against the Mets in Game 3, but in the series he's kind of reverted to some of his old ways at the plate. Trying to find his way, batting 3rd tonight. 2 outs, nobody on. Shift is on the infield, and that one's fouled away off the bat of Gonzalez.
We're watching Cargo. For Cargo, it's all about his leg kick. It's all about his timing. Physically, he's in a great shape, much better where he has been in the last couple of years. But that leg kick, for him to see the ball, recognize it, not let his body pull him forward where he's having to commit to pitches on the outside part of the plate or guess inside to be able to catch him.
2-2 is fouled away. Battling Walker here. Struck out Blackman and Story. 2-2 on Gonzalez.
When you have a leg kick and your timing's off, we call it being in between. And you're in between fastball and curveball. So you're just, timing isn't quite there yet.
3-2. He doesn't seem to be down at all mentally. He's still his old jovial self, Cargo, these days. And that one's hit to shallow left. It's Matt Holliday circling around, makes a catch, and Michael Walker's got a 1-2-3 first against the Rockies. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Bottom of the first coming up. No score. No score. Rockies went down in order back in the top of the inning. And Matt Carpenter leads off for the Cardinals. And let's look at the lineup for the Cardinals, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. This is the 36th different lineup that Mike Matheny has used this year. We've only played 40 games. Wong is swinging the bat well these days for his team. So Carpenter, Diaz, Holiday, Piscotty, Adams, Molina, Grichuk, Wong, and Michael Wacha. And again, kind of pieced together by Mike Matheny. And John Gray on the mound for the Rockies.
And John Gray, last start, got his first major league win. A great start against the New York Mets at home, someplace that he's really struggled. I want to see it. Is this the guy that we're going to start watching every 5th day and go, we're winning tonight? And when you look at his arsenal, yes, he has the big fastball, but the slider command for me has been impressive. He's scrapped the curveball and scrapped the changeup last year, throwing it about 18% of the time with the changeup. It's really allowed him to focus on that slider, which is so devastating to left-handed batters. And to put it into context, lefties are 4 for their last 33.
Rockies put a shift on, left-handed hitter Carpenter. Just 1 for his last 14 at the plate. Doesn't have a hit in the series. The fastball a little bit inside, so 2-1.
On to look a little bit deeper into John Gray's pitch usage. You have to watch it and watch how guys adapt in the major leagues. And for John Gray, scrapping certain pitches and realizing that the slider is so effective for him.
It's lifted down the left field line. That's going to slice into the corner and a foul ball.
You can see exactly what I'm talking about when you look at the pitch usage. Last year, using the changeup 17% of the time. That was not a good pitch for John because it was too similar to the fastball. A bad changeup was a BP fastball. He's gotten rid of it. He uses that slider, and now 71% of his strikeouts are coming via the slider.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Matt Carpenter. John Gray facing his first hitter tonight, looking for win number 2 of his career. Number 1 came last time out. That start against the Mets. Fouled away by Carpenter, who's just a real tough out anytime you face him.
You can see Carpenter turn around and ask Lance Barksdale, who's behind the plate tonight, he goes, "Is that a strike?" Lance waved his head, "Yep, it's a strike."
And that one's hit to center. Charlie Blackmon is going to get there and make the grab. And let's set the Rockies with the leather for you tonight. Again, Daniel Descalso will start at second base. Here's the outfield. It's the regular Parra, Blackmon, Gonzalez left to right, and then Descalso at second for DJ LeMahieu. Just a night off for DJ, and the first start for the former Cardinal Descalso. Walters behind the plate, and there is the former Cardinal Daniel Descalso. Excited to be playing, you said tonight. He was ready to go. When isn't he, though?
We were teasing him that this is his opening day.
Yeah.
Like, happy opening day, Daniel. So he's running to third base. He pretended to shake his legs like he was super nervous. Except I think he really was shaking his legs because he was really nervous.
Chopped to the plate, foul by Diaz, the young shortstop. That got his front foot. He's going to walk that one off. Let's check the umpire alignment tonight. Behind the plate, Lance Barksdale. First base, Jim Wolf, yes. Adrian Johnson at second. And Gary Cederstrom at third. That's Barksdale behind the plate, calling balls and strikes tonight. He's going to let the manager and the trainer come out to check on Diaz to make sure that he's all right. Lance Barksdale, at least in my mind, Ryan, one of the better balls and strikes umpires in the game.
He really is. He had to join the crew. This is not his normal crew because his daughter was graduating from high school. So being from Mississippi, he flew home and saw his daughter graduate, and now he joined this crew.
Kind of like the guy I'm pinch hitting for tonight.
Yeah, for
right?
Drew Goodman, going home and seeing his son graduate. We'll be back soon.
Priorities. I like them.
Family comes first, Jerry.
Yeah, that's right. Aledmys Diaz is all right. He's back in the box, and that pitch caught the inside corner. 376 for this rookie behind Daniel Murphy's off to an incredible start for Washington, but this guy's been impressive too. And that hit him. That's a hit batsman. Diaz got clipped just a little bit on the inside with that fastball by John Gray. Got hit in the foot with a foul ball and then got hit with a John Gray pitch.
Well, John Gray's been using a sinker more, two-seamer, because he likes the movement he's getting, and you can see this movement running in towards Diaz from the side. That is not his check swing. That's not his swing. It gets him nice and easy.
And get Matt Holliday to the plate. Holliday with that big swing in last night's game 2 drove in the 2 runs with 1 swing for the Cardinals. That's all they needed. Ball 1.
Now we were showing Aledmys Diaz is second in the National League behind Daniel Murphy, who just hit a home run against Matt Harvey. Washington playing the Mets.
John Gray working from the stretch against Matt Holliday. A toss to first. Close play, but Diaz is back in time. One thing the Rockies have asked John Gray to do is consider speeding things up a little bit. Not necessarily with runners on base, but a little quicker tempo, and he's adapted to that very well. He is popped up, going to be a foul ball. It's out of play.
Well, to put it in context with what you're talking about, we were noticing Chad Bettis, and in Bettis's last start, the pace, the time it takes in between the seconds in between pitches, he was less than 17 seconds. John Gray is averaging about 24 seconds in between pitches. So you'd like to see him maybe not catch up to that breakneck pace, but something, you know, league average is about 21.5 seconds. Somewhere around league average would be great.
1-1 pitch to Holliday, and that's a broken bat. It's a little flare out into right. Cargo can't get it. It's going to drop in front of him. Scalzo couldn't get there either, and that's another hit for Matt Holliday. Just his second, his last 16 at bats. They're both against the Rockies. First and second, and 1 down for the Cardinals.
John Gray throwing a good fastball away from him. That's a slider. See it running down and away, but still a little bit too much plate coverage for Matt Holliday to be able to poke it into right field. I always say it's not how hard you hit it, it's where you hit it.
First and second for the Cardinals with Diaz at second, Holliday at first, and here's a cleanup man, Stephen Piscotty. Breaking ball, slider missed, backhanded by Walters, and 1-0, and Tony's going to jog out the mound, deliver the ball to John Gray.
Anytime you see a catcher running out to the pitcher, it means he crossed him up, and based on how Walters tried to catch that curveball, you could see they got crossed up.
John Gray last year had a little trouble getting out of that first inning. And once he did in several starts a year ago, he was fine, but had some trouble in the first, and a couple base runners on here in the first inning. And that missed away. Fastball, plenty of velocity, 97 miles an hour, 96, but he missed. And 2-0 on Piscotty.
Piscotty with that .426 career average with runners in scoring position is the highest average among any active player with 100+ at bats.
And 3 hits in last night's game 2. Stanford product. Gray delivers to him, and that one's hit to left center field. And Parra can't get it. It's going to bounce up in the stands for a ground rule double. I thought for a moment Parra was going to run it down. He couldn't get it. It kept carrying, and that's going to score a run. Diaz will score from second. Holliday stops at third. 1-0 St. Louis.
Well, so far Gray's been falling behind with Stephen Piscotty, and so he has to come and attack with fastball. Catches way too much part of the plate, and Piscotty's been swinging a very hot stick can see Parra giving chase, and you asked for a better bounce for the Rockies. That was a perfect hop. That keeps Matt Holliday from scoring from first base.
Yeah, Piscotty with 4 hits in his last 5 at bats against the Rockies. Second and third, 1 down. And the Cardinals this year 13-5 when they score first. Matt Adams, the first baseman. And a breaking ball missed low and in to the big guy from Slippery Rock University. First inning runs for John Gray. 6 allowed, all earned this year in 6 starts. As Walt Weiss says about this guy, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Let's hope that is an improvement as we go on today. Ground ball, base hit to left field. Scores 1 more. Being waved in Piscotty, and the throw comes into second base. That's a 2-run single for Matt Adams. And just like that, the Cardinals are on top of the Rockies, 3-0.
The Rockies are in the ship. Nolan on the left side of the infield. Pitches outside, and Matt Adams being able to take it and just shoot it opposite field. Gerardo Parra, good job not throwing that ball in right there. Had no chance at Stephen Piscotty, and you don't want Matt Adams to take an extra base.
Steve Foster, the Rockies pitching coach, is out on the mound as Matt Adams waits at first. Still just 1 out in the inning. Runs on 3 hits in this first inning. Hit batsman got the rally going for the Cardinals. That often is the case. And a single, a double, and a single. John Gray's got the veteran Yadier Molina. Molina 1 for 8 in the homestand. He's caught all 3 games. And that's bounced to third, foul ball.
John Gray in his last 2 road starts, 13 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs. It's already almost been matched in just this first inning.
He cements 2 runs in that brilliant game in San Francisco, 7 scoreless. But tonight a different story to begin the game anyway. Could use a double play ball here. And that's a strike called. Let's look at last night with Molina at the plate. Rockies needed a double play, and they got just that. Great play by Arenado, great turn by LeMahieu, and a big moment in the ball game defensively for the Rockies. 2 Gold Glovers combining on a wonderful 5-4-3 double play. And close play over at first base, but Adams is back.
You had Adams leaning towards second base. I don't know if they were going to go for a hit and run or if Adams was getting a good read on John Gray's timing. Pretty close play.
Matt Adams, a big guy. He's 235 pounds, but he runs a little better, a little quicker than you think he might be. 0-2 on Molina. And this could be 2. Second for 1. Descalso with a turn. That is a double play. 6-4-3. Cardinals, though, get 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning. The double play ball helped out John Gray. We'll come back with a second after this. 3 runs, bottom of the first inning, 3-0 as we start the second inning. And fans of the Rockies score 7 or more runs, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies Taco Special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. It was a 1-2-3 first for Walker against the Rockies. Nolan Arenado back in that cleanup spot will lead off for the Rockies here in the second inning. He'll be followed by Gerardo Parra and then Mark Reynolds. Terrific numbers to begin the year again for Nolan Arenado. The thing that he's talking about the other day, he's so proud of, is hitting over 300. He said that was one of his goals this year, is to hit around 300. He's at 305. That one hit foul. 0-2. So Walker working ahead of the first 3 hitters in the first inning, and 0-2 on Arenado here.
And I think 3rd year, 4th year now in the major leagues for Nolan, understanding how you go about hitting 300 is realizing that you're going to have a lot of ups and downs. You're going to have a month where you hit 200.
That one's off the glove of Walker, but grabbed by Wong, the second baseman, and he'll get the out at first.
Then you'll have months where you hit 400. Trying to stay low, stay straight, fly low, fly straight. Stay under the radar. Don't let the highs and lows get you too down. And I think Nolan is taking that into account.
So Gerardo Parra stands in now. He had a tough night last night. He went 0 for 4 at 3 strikeouts. He couldn't quite figure out that curveball that Wainwright was throwing him last night. Still off to a very good start. .295 batting average and some terrific defense in the outfield. And that's a strike called to Gerardo Parra. Had that great homestand, went 10 for 25. Trying to take it on the road now. That's upstairs. 1-1. Walt Weiss talking about this guy before the game, saying, I don't know that I'm aware of a better arm in the outfield in terms of accuracy and strength together. Showed it again last night, swinging and a miss there on a high breaking pitch, actually 87 miles an hour.
And only because we don't get to see a lot of American League teams. The only arms off the top of my head, Kevin Kiermaier, the outlaw with Tampa Bay. He's been measured on the StatCast, throwing it over 100 miles, into Jackie Bradley Jr., center fielder with Boston. They said he threw it over the 420 center field from home plate at Boston.
Seriously?
Yes, from home plate, threw it over the fence.
I didn't know that was possible.
Neither did I.
I don't know if Parra's got that kind of laser arm, but the accuracy sure is there for the left-handed thrower. Let's go back and look at that throw from last night for Parra. The thing about it is he seems to take his time and kind of measure things up, Brian.
Well, he gets behind the baseball, and that allows his feet to get set. And talking with Matt Holliday last night, he was watching the whole play develop, and he goes, Carpenter, you better run faster.
A Gold Glove in left and a Gold Glove in right field in his career, playing left these days for the Rockies. Just a very good acquisition for Colorado. Good with the bat, steady, use the whole field, and the defense, of course, is there every night. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on for the Rockies. They're down 3-0 in the top of the second. Michael Walker's pitch to Parra. That's chopped off the plate. Could be a tough play. Diaz charging. Oh, good shot. And out at first base.
Well, from all accounts, if you talk to some of the St. Louis Cardinals broadcasters, they've been saying he'll make the incredible plays. That's a very difficult short hop that he's able to pick off to the side of his body. But it's been the routine plays that have been difficult for Diaz at first. A throw, not quite on target, but Matt Adams reaching out, making the grab.
And Diaz does have 10 errors, and that has been a problem for St. Louis this year. They lead the National League in errors.
Michael Wacha's last game, his Cardinals defense committed 3 errors. Scored 6 runs, 2 of them were earned.
Mark Reynolds at the plate now for the Rockies. 2 outs, nobody on. 1 for 5 in the series with a double. He's walked 3 times in the series. Former Cardinal. And a foul ball. 1-1.
Wacha does not seem to have any trouble with his command. He's been able to spot up both sides of the plate. And Wacha had really been burned by the walks this year, over 3 walks per 9. And if he does walk 3 or more, he's 5-12 lifetime.
Chopper up the middle, but played by Wong behind second base. A long throw and safe at first base. Reynolds with hustle is safe. Wong took his time and a little nonchalant about it. May have cost him. Cardinals might look at this one and challenge Mike Matheny, the manager.
About 2 weeks ago, Mark Reynolds would not be safe on this play because he had a huge raspberry on his knee. He could barely run. It's a chopper up the middle. You can see Wong set his feet. Oof.
And the Cardinals are going to challenge this.
Of course.
It's close.
This is, as a hitter, you wish that they didn't have the instant replay for this. You go, come on, I just had a hit.
Yeah, an infield single. Mark Reynolds doesn't get many of those. By the way, Mark is coming up on 1,000 hits for his career. If this one stands and he gets this infield single, he's got 994.
Cardinals already walking off the field. Mark Reynolds is pleading his case with Matt Adams at first. Come on, that's a hit, right?
I still think that's really close. The ball's got to get into the pocket of the glove.
Most of the Cardinals fielders are off the field right now.
And I call him out at first base. Challenged and overruled, so the Cardinals win the challenge, and Mark Reynolds is out at first base. It turns out to be a 1-2-3 inning for Michael Wacha again against the Rockies. Set at the bottom of the second, 3-0 Cardinals.
Nothing on John Gray. In the pregame show, I talked to Chris Russin, who pitched last night. He's kind of been a mentor for John Gray, and there's a few reasons why, and here's one.
I always look nervous, before the games. I'm like, man, what's wrong? It's just, man, I just got to wait for this game to start. And I'm the same way. But we just talked, throughout that season, and then you end up getting called up, and doing the same thing, leaning on me, asking questions, leaning on Bettis. All the pitchers just trying to calm him down, you know, and calm his nerves, and let him know that he has electric stuff, and just to go out there and attack, and you know, don't hold anything back, because you know you want to get the best out of your pitches.
Well, he's in a 3-0 hole here as he pitches to Grichuk. And Spilly, was there somebody that you had to as a go-to person for, you know, whether it was to calm down your nerves or just get you set for the game? Is there anybody that comes to mind?
Sure, I mean, there's always players.
Plenty probably, right?
Who?
I said plenty guys probably.
Oh yeah, well, and I was in a different position because I was always a bench player. So understanding how to go about your business. Dustin Moore was a guy that was trying to take me under his wing and kind of teach me to always be ready. Kip Pello was another guy that was with the Rockies and sat on the bench.
And that's ball 4 to Randall Grichuk. Not the way that John Gray wants to start the second inning after giving up 3 in the first. Now Colton Wong will step to the plate. He's hitting 8th, but this guy's hitting the ball very well. 8 for his last 20. He's got a 6-game hitting streak going on the year at 250. The pitcher Waka is on deck. He's got a double play back in the first inning. They could use one here. Wong, a tough guy to double up. He runs well. Strike 1. Colton Wong, University of Hawaii. Interesting story here. When he was 12 years old, his team from Hawaii won the U.S. version of the Little League World Series and represented the United States. And his father was the head coach. He was the star shortstop and pitcher on that team. First round draft pick of the Cardinals a couple years ago. Tony Walters calls time there. Second in the National League and Rookie of the Year voting a couple of years ago. Colton Wong. And strike 2. Balls and 2 strikes on Colton Wong.
Well, so far for John Gray, he's had Melendez Diaz on the ropes, hit him with the pitch, had Matt Holliday on the ropes, threw a slider that got punched into right field, and now you have another 0-2 count. See if he can put a hitter away.
Yep. Has not had a strikeout yet. We're in the number 8 hitter. We're used to more strikeouts from John Gray. We got spoiled the last 2 games. 0-2 pitch. Oh, that didn't miss by a whole lot. A little bit upstairs to Wong. John Gray averaging 11 strikeouts per 9 innings, so much more than 1 per inning, and he's looking for 1 here. Go to first. Back in time is Grichuk. Runs well.
Well, Grichuk is a player that the Cardinals would love to see get going offensively. He's a guy that was penciled in to be their center fielder cleanup hitter.
There it goes. Pitch is popped up behind home plate, and Walters no play. Tony watched the runner take off to second base, and that's turn around and try to get to the backstop to make a play, but it was out of play, and Grichuk back to first. Still 1-2 on Colton Wong. John Gray with 30 pitches thrown already. 6 men sent to the plate in the first inning. Then he walked the first hitter here in the second. Swing and a miss. He got him. Came back with a slider.
And that's the slider that John Gray wants to be able to throw. Throw that under the hand of Colton Wong. Fastball command is starting to get there in that slider. That's the disappearing strikeout. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about strikeouts per 9. How good he is. Jose Fernandez leads baseball. Clayton Kershaw strikes everybody out. What is he averaging? 10 and no walks per game. John Gray is right behind these guys. And when you see that slider and you see him get on top of it, commanding the fastball, we'll start seeing him racking up some of these strikeouts.
Michael Walker trying to put a bunt down, pops that one up, and Walters has a play behind the plate, and he grabs it. 2 down. This is what the Rockies needed right there, and not an advance to second base by the runner. So still at first base is Grichuk. John Gray a chance to get out of the inning unscathed here. Carpenter taking his time getting up to the plate to let Walker get back in the dugout, catch his breath. Carpenter lined out to Charlie Blackmon first time up.
Well, since the start of 2014, the National League leadoff hitters Charlie Blackmon and Matt Carpenter are truly one of the best. Charlie with 369 hits, second in the National League. Matt Carpenter, you look at the numbers, and for both guys being able to have the type of offenses that both teams have, having a leadoff guy that can not only get the base hits, but for me, the RBIs, 140 RBIs for Charlie, and second right behind him is Matt Carpenter. That is a luxury to have on a very good offensive unit.
2 wonderful hitters.
2 wonderful beards.
Check swing, and that's a foul ball. Caught Tony Walters, I believe. Yep, sure did. And let Tony Walters walk around the dirt circle. Let's look at where it got him.
And Tony was telling Lance Barksdale, let's go, it's okay, it's gonna hurt. He knows that. Ah, right on the top of the knee.
That's what you got shin guards for, Larry.
Matt Carpenter's doing a nice job allowing him to get a breather as well.
Yep.
It's good gamesmanship by Matt Carpenter, and even asked as he walked in towards home plate, are you okay? You sure? Can you give me a fastball right down the middle, please?
Carpenter is he's a little atypical as a leadoff hitter because he doesn't run that well. Doesn't steal bases like Charlie Blackmon does, but he gets on base, he draws walks, and just a great pure hitter. 0-2 the count on him. John Gray's pitch, and that one's hit to right. Cargo's got a long run. This one is off the top of the wall. Cargo firing back in, and the throw not in time at his second base is Carpenter with an RBI double. 4-0 St. Louis. Almost had a home run.
Matt Carpenter just beat John Gray to the location. And as we watch Matt Carpenter swing, he does not take a big swing. He just gets the barrel to the ball. Another slider. He doesn't even finish his swing. Cargo on this throw tries to throw him out from the warning track and has a chance if he hits the cutoff man with Daniel Descalso. Randall Grichuk, who runs very, very well, is able to score from first. And there again, when you talk about having a leadoff hitter with the ability to drive in runs, that's a 2-out RBI with a runner at first base.
Shortstop Diaz next, and he'll put a soft liner towards second. Grabbed by Descalso, put to first just in time to get the out. But the Cardinals tack on. They have taken a 4-0 lead after 2. Back to St. Louis in a moment. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love it what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Jack in the Box. Taste the Jumbo-licious Jumbo meal before it's gone. Only at Jack in the Box. Arch is right across the road from us here, just down the streets. The Gateway Arch, beautiful skyline from our view as well from the booth here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 4-0 though, the Rockies are down. There's that great view. Downtown skyline, you've got just appearing now, there's the old courthouse. That's a historic building as well. We'll talk about that as we proceed tonight. Top of the third inning, the Rockies down 4-0. As Daniel Descalso gets a nice round of applause from the fans. And like Daniel told us yesterday, once a Cardinal, always a Cardinal.
He's getting a couple people on their feet, acknowledging what he's done. 2011 was part of the World Series team.
Descalso saying yesterday, he said, don't get me wrong, the fans in Denver are awesome. They are awesome. But he said, they're not like here. He said, this is it's a phenomenon here. 2-1 to him.
That's right, Cardinals Nation.
Well, they've been playing baseball here 125 years, and all that success, that's a strike. 2-2 on Descalso.
And Walt was really trying to get Daniel. This is the first start he's had the entire season. Got hurt in spring training, he's been having rehab.
That's going to be a base hit to left field for the former Cardinal. Matt Holliday cuts it off. Big turn for Daniel, but he will hold at first base. And the Rockies have their first hit and their first base runner.
None of the Cardinals fans cheered after that base hit.
They don't mind him coming to plate, but no base hits against him. Huh?
That's right. Daniel Descalso, very first hit of the season, is going to come with 2 strikes. And he loves seeing that on the Subaru Supermo. He sets his feet nice and early, gets his foot down, and that's a mislocation for Waka. Good inside-out swing, and you're on the board. It's official.
1 for 1.
Right? Well, I think he's 1 for 2.
Is he 1 for 2?
Yeah,
you're right.
Hit.
He had a
check swing.
He sure did. Tony Walters next. He'll chop that one foul. That got his front foot and put him in a heap.
That is not fun. Yadi Molina's he's been through it. He knows what it feels like.
Yeah, Yadi's like, I feel your pain there, friend.
I know exactly what you're going through, buddy. Come on. Here's your bat.
Remember, at the bottom of the second, he got hit as a catcher on the knee. Here on the foot.
There's not enough padding for catchers. You can see Tony Walters' inside fastball just drills it right off of his foot.
Tony played last night. Game 2 went 1 for 3. On the stretch, Waka. And that caught the inside corner. Waka's hitting his spots tonight.
And you see Yadi's not doing Walters any favors. I understand it hurts, but guess what? I'm going to throw that pitch righty. I'm going to throw that pitch again. Same location.
Swing and a foul tip that was held on by Molina on a high fastball at 95. Third strikeout of the game for Waka. First out in the inning for the Rockies. Rockies fans, you can join the conversation. Send us your thoughts, photos, questions via your favorite social media platform using the hashtag Toyota Talk. We'll show some of your Toyota Talk comments throughout the game tonight. And here's our first one for tonight. Tyler Matzik, by the way, is reinstated from the disabled list, and send him to Modesto. That's high A for the Rockies as John Gray puts a bunt down foul to first base side. So good for the Rockies, good for Tyler Matzik to come back and start pitching again.
The guy dealing with the issues that Tyler Matzik has had to deal with, you feel for the guy, and you want him to do well.
Gray up in the box, showing bunt. The throw to first as Scalzo's back, standing. Ninth star of the year for Michael Wacha, 67th of his career. And Gray pulled the bat back. It's called a strike. It caught the outside corner.
Now the Subaru strike zone, it does.
I think so far Michael Wacha has hit every spot that Yadier Molina has put his mitt. 2 strikes on John Gray. He is 1 for 21 in his career at the plate, showing bunt again, and he bunts it foul, and that'll be a strikeout for John Gray. 2 outs in the inning. Earlier today in Scottsdale, where the Rockies have spring training, Jose Reyes is back on the field beginning his workouts. Speaking of reinstatements, and he's eligible to play again on June 1st, but his first official workout today for the Rockies.
And Walt said he talked with Jose Reyes today, made a phone call, didn't discuss any roles or what's going to go on, just wanted to make sure and see how he was doing, check in.
Through the order once now, Charlie Blackmon hitting for the second time, struck out the first time. And the pitch is low and in, ball 1, and a rare non-strike thrown on the first pitch to a hitter.
Oh, Michael Wacha has been so comfortable at home. 2.08 ERA, 234 batting average at home. On the road, it's a different story. And he's got some run support so far tonight. He's able to be aggressive now.
Swing and a miss by Blackmon. Might have been a little tardy with the swing. 1-1. Charlie really swinging the bat well, though, these days. When he went on the disabled list, he was hitting 185. Since that time, 338 batting average for Charlie Blackmon. A long hitting streak ended on Sunday against the Mets. Pulls that one foul on the ground. Cardinals with 3 runs first inning, tacked on 1 more in the second. We're in the top of the third. Scalzo leadoff single, still at first, 2 down. And Wacha's pitch, that one is popped up. Might be a play for Carpenter, the third baseman. You're going to run out of room. It's on top of the dugout. Last time Wacha was out, a game against the Dodgers, 4 innings. He got charged with just 2 earned runs. There were 6 runs scored against him. As Ryan pointed out, there's a couple of errors in that ball game. But he was not happy with the way he pitched, even though he only charged with 2 runs. Tonight looks like a different guy. Blackmon will hit that one to right field. That's a base hit. Solid single for Descalso, another one for Blackmon. So the Rockies' third inning continues. First and second, 2 down. And we'll see if Trevor Story can keep this thing going in the third. Strikeout victim as well with Michael Wacha back in the first inning.
Well, Wacha, years ago when he first showed up to big league spring training, Mike Matheny thought that Wacha was Adam Wainwright. Both are very imposing. Adam Wainwright's 6'7", Michael Wacha is 6'6", but it wasn't just the mechanics, it was how he was carrying himself on the mound, the demeanor. And last night when we saw Wainwright get into his groove, you could see the confidence that Wainwright would exude. Same with Michael Wacha, and as we know, Michael Wacha ended up with 4 postseason wins in the World Series that next year.
There's Wainwright, who was so good last night against the Rockies. Yeah, they do look alike. They're built the same way. Wainwright a little bit taller, but not a whole lot. Yeah, you can see it right there.
Yeah, it's
the
same
beards,
guy.
especially. It's the same guy, right?
Check the birth certificates.
Yeah. Two outstanding pitchers, too. Story will hit that to left center field. That could get to the gap. It's going to. And it's going to score a couple of runs. Descalso scores. Blackman's going to score in the play. And the Rockies, with 2 outs, able to put 2 home with an RBI, 2 RBI double by Trevor Story.
I love the manufacturer. This could have been a very bad inning. Descalso leading off the inning with the base hit, get the 2 strikeouts, but Charlie Blackmon finding a way to put the ball in play with 2 strikes. And Trevor Story, runners in scoring position. That's a short, quiet swing. That's not a lot of intent to hit the ball out of the ballpark. That is what we like to see from this Rockies offense for a guy that strikes out quite a bit to shorten up the swing, and you know how fast Charlie can cut the pillows. Picking him up and putting him down. Good way to fight back for the Rockies, where you saw Waka was cruise control for a couple pitches.
Yeah, that's a big swing for Colorado by Trevor Story. So he's at second, 2 outs with Gonzalez. Swing and a foul tip held on by the catcher. Argo flied out to left to Holiday first time. Average down to 277 for Gonzalez. Trying to find the groove again with the bat. Telling the media the other day he's healthy, everything feels fine, there's no pain, there's no injury issues at all, just trying to get his timing back. He'll take that pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the Rockies with a 2-out rally. They get a single from Descalso, then Walters and Gray strike out, but Blackmon and Story back-to-back hits. Cut that lead for the Cardinals in half, 4-2. And looking for more. Gonzalez with a chance to drive in a run. Walker's pitch upstairs, and 2-1. Falling behind a hitter finally.
Well, for Cargo, it's almost been a problem because he's been so good at hitting the ball opposite field. He could see the shift. He could see where Diaz is, and he's been trying to hit it over there. And he hasn't been getting his great swing because of it.
And rolls one over there for out number 3. But the Rockies able to get a couple runs home on a big double by Trevor Story. Back to St. Louis in a moment. With 2 outs in the top of this inning, 4-2 Cardinals lead in the bottom of the 3rd. And let's look at our Quicken Loans Rocket Arms, our strikeout leaders with the Rockies. Chad Bettis, number 1. John Gray right behind him with the 37. So pretty good 1-2 combination, young guys.
Great 1-2 combination. John Gray doing it in not as many starts as Chad Bettis. You like seeing it. Both guys are starting to really rise to the top as far as being the guys for the starting rotation.
You look at those two, and you've got another youngster for the most part, and Tyler Chatwood. You've got Eddie Butler throwing the ball. I mean, you got a group of young arms that I think the team can be excited about these days.
Well, and I think when you see Walt talking about being better equipped, I think in the month of May, Rockies have been good, and then after that, they've fallen down the stretch. And you look at the arms in the minor leagues, and you look at the arms now, and Walt's right. Even Charlie Blackmon said if this was a stock, if the Rockies were a stock, I'd buy now because they're moving up.
And the biggest reason for that is young arms, especially starters. Matt Holliday at the plate. He'll take that for a strike, 2-1. Holliday with a single his last time up. That was in the first inning. Diaz got hit by a pitch, and then that opened up the inning for the Cardinals. They scored 3 times. And then the walk to Grichuk in the second created a run. He scored. Swing and a miss. Boy, good spot on a fastball there. Down by the knees at 97.
Well, and the reaction of John Gray after he threw that, he whipped his arm and his leg. You can see the downward movement he's getting on that. He's been throwing that two-seam pitch a lot more of late.
Two-seam at 97 miles an hour.
That's not fair.
2-2 pitch. Ground ball up the middle to Scalzo on a backhand. He's got it, and he'll throw to first to get Holliday. 1 down.
This is a big inning for John Gray. The Rockies just scored 2 runs with 2 outs. And you're about to go through the heart of the lineup with Holliday, Piscotty, and Adams, and trying to get the team right back into the dugout. You talk about keeping that quick pace and how important that is. This is, again, you look at these growth moments for John Gray. If you want to step up and be considered the guy, this is a big inning to prove to your teammates, hey, it's for real. Let's go. We're going to win this series.
And strike 1 called there on a pitch that was 96 miles an hour again. 0-1. Grichuk with a big swing back in the first. A 2-run double. It was a ground rule double. Scotty swinging a foul tip, and that's another heater, 96 miles an hour. 0-2. He was a little late with that swing.
Well, he's not messing around now. He's reaching back and using that fastball both sides of the plate and really getting some downward movement with that two-seamer. Just watch his confidence.
And the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball, the slider miss to 1-2. Gray 6'4", 235, Chandler, Oklahoma, and University of Oklahoma. Oklahoma University, I think you call that. George Frazier might get mad if I say it the wrong way.
Well, George is here.
Yeah, doing radio tonight. 1-2 pitch. Broken bat roller toward third. Tough play. Arenado, bare hand. Quick throw to first is wide, and it gets away from the first baseman Reynolds. And Mark Reynolds might be hurt. He had a collision with the runner, Piscotty. Knocked his glove off. Couldn't get the throw from Arenado. It's going to be an error on Nolan Arenado. Going to be a base hit for the runner. No error on Arenado. Base hit for Piscotty. They're going to rule, and we'll see if Reynolds is okay.
And John Gray threw a fastball right under Piscotty's hands and blew up his bat. And so the ball wasn't hit very hard. Oh man, that is dangerous. And you could see Reynolds, you wonder if he jammed his thumb the throw just because of the slow. Oh man. Yeah, that could be bad. Anytime you see the wrist bend like that.
By the way, Tony Walters back at the plate did not allow Piscotty to get to second base. That's Keith Duggar, the Rockies lead trainer, looking at Reynolds. Interesting now because your other semi-regular first baseman, Ben Paulson's down at AAA now. Reynolds grabbing his glove, so that's a good sign, I assume.
Well, I've had this happen to me before, and you'll have adrenaline running through your body, whether you get hit by a pitch or very similarly, you put your hand in the base path and you get run into. Your body shakes and it's hard for you to grip just because you're nervous. Your mind tells you that your wrist is broken and you start thinking worst case scenario.
Like there was a little bit of give to his arm, and maybe that helped him. He's going to stay in the game. You see him trying to get some feeling back in that left hand, but staying in the game, and he'll hold the runner Piscotty at first base for Matt Adams.
Well, and after this inning, after he plays defense, he's going to have to come down the stairs and talk with Keith Duggar and grab a bat. He's going to be hitting third next inning and see if he can handle the bat.
Matt Adams with a big swing back in the first inning. You know, swing and foul that one straight back. A 2-run single for Adams. Well, the Cardinals have a history of plucking guys late in the draft that have produced. This is one of them. 23rd round pick, Matt Adams. Scotty can run. Good lead from first. And that's a bit high to Adams. 1-1.
Oh man, Subaru Strike Zone likes that pitch, and I liked it too. Liked how Wolters received it. I thought it was top of the zone.
There goes the runner. Pitch swung on and missed. Throw to second base, and they get him out at second base. Great throw by Tony Wolters. Throw a bit high, but in plenty of time, and it's out number 2.
You're not going to see a better catch and release than Tony Wolters did. Stephen Piscotty got a great jump, and you can see Trevor Story drop in the quick tag right on his calf. It's a good strong tag. Make sure the umpire sees that he's out.
1-2 on Adams. The pitch is low and in. 2-2.
Wolters this year, 36% caught stealing, 5 for 14.
He's got a very good arm, but that release is so quick. It looks like a middle infielder release. That's how quick it is. It's as quick or quicker than any in Major League Baseball, and it paid off. 2-2 pitch. That one's pulled foul down the right field side. Let's look at that release from the catcher.
Well, his feet are so quick. You can see it doesn't take much for him to set his feet, square up his shoulders. He wasn't happy about the throw being not perfectly on the money. And after he made that throw, he went and rubbed some dirt on his hands.
Adams swing and a miss. He got him. Oh, good work by John Gray. Gives up a single, but the caught stealing helped, and he get the strikeout of Matt Adams. We'll head to the 4th in a moment. By the way, Denver native, Denver Christian High School. Good stuff. Top of the fourth inning, the Rockies down 4-2. Nolan Arenado leads off, and Jeremy Hazelbaker is in center field for Piscotty, and that's the guy that ran into Mark Reynolds. So maybe it was Piscotty that got hurt.
No, he's on the scoreboard. They have him in for Randall Grichuk. So I'm wondering if Randall Grichuk hurt himself scoring on the double with Matt Carpenter 2 innings ago.
Gotcha. Nolan the first time up, grounded out to second base. Rockies out hit 5-3, trailing 4-2 in the fourth. They get 2 runs back in the third inning. It's low and outside from Walker. That missed outside, so
there's the Walker we were hoping to see, the walking Walker.
Walking Walker, yeah, there you go. Leadoff man aboard for the Rockies for the second time in the ball game. Happened in the third inning when the Rockies got 2. So just to clear that up, Hazelbaker is in center, Piscotty still in right, and Grichuk is out of the ball game. So nobody out. Gerardo Parra as Mike Matheny looks on, giving some defensive instruction. Parra, a ground out to short. Good play by the rookie shortstop Diaz. Put the bunt down, bunts it out in front of the plate. It's a tough play. Molina, quick throw to first, and safe at first base is Parra. First and second, nobody out for the Rockies.
Looked like a little bit of miscommunication between Michael Wacha and Yadi Molina as the ball was put in a great location right in front of home plate, right between both the pitcher and the catcher, and you can see them. They're going to make eye contact. Which one's going to go grab it? Wacha moves off, and Yadi has to throw off his the wrong foot, and Parra just beating it at safe at first base. It's going to be interesting to watch Mark Reynolds right here.
Yep.
Especially with the hand, first and second, nobody out. You almost, if you're Mark, you're going, I'd rather bunt right here.
Yep, exactly. You don't want to hit into double play is what you want to try to avoid if you can. Reynolds grounded out to second, his first time up. And a pitch upstairs, ball 1. Leadoff walk and then a bunt single for Gerardo Parra.
And the Rockies have been doing that in bunting situations. They have not been straight sacrifice bunting. They've been taking it with them, trying to sacrifice, not sacrifice, but bunt for a hit.
Swing and a miss there from Reynolds. And it's interesting you say that because Eric Young Sr. is saying today, he says, I think Parra has rubbed off on these guys. They see him bunt, and guys like Blackman and LeMahieu and others try the same thing.
Well, and I think personnel-wise, when you look at this team versus last year, you have a lot more athleticism from Trevor Story and Gerardo Parra.
There's a line drive to right. That's going to be a base hit. Arenado's going to hold at third base. He had to wait to see if that ball got through. That answers the question for now about Reynolds. He gets a base hit, and the bases are loaded. Nobody out.
You're right, Jerry. His wrist feels fine.
At least for now it does. Maybe the swelling hasn't hit quite yet.
Well, anytime you get a hit, it's going to feel even better. Yep. Fastball out away from Mark Reynolds in that approach we've been talking about, how he's been hitting the ball opposite field, using the middle part of the plate of the field. Good piece of hitting. Caught his old teammates off guard. They go, hey, we used to do that last year.
Exactly. Here's the old teammate here. Descalso swings and fouls the first one back. We're told with Randall Grichuk, lower back tightness for the outfielder, so he's out of the ball game. We thought Reynolds might leave the game for the Rockies. He stays in, and Grichuk is out. 1 strike on Descalso. That's a line drive, base hit to left field. That's going to score 1, and that's going to score 2. Parra scores easily, and the Rockies, just like that, have tied the game up. Daniel Descalso, a 2-run single, and still nobody out.
Happy opening day, Daniel Descalso. Burn your old teammates and burn the fans that came to see you play. I love it. Short swing. Michael Wacha, the inning started because of a walk. Walking Nolan. Great bunt by Gerardo Parra. And Mark Reynolds being able to hit the ball opposite field. It's the quiet swing that the Cardinals fans grew to love, are looking at it today and go, you know what, I don't like that Daniel Descalso guy anymore.
I liked him like 25 minutes ago, but not now. Conference on the mound with the pitching coach. Derek Lilliquist came out to talk to Wacha. There's a runner at first and a runner at second, nobody out. Tony Wolters. And a base hit in 6 of his last 7 games. Looking for another here. Struck out his first time. Bouncer toward first. Adams a step on the bag, and that's all that the Cardinals will get. So that acts like a bunt. Sends runners into scoring position. Second and third, 1 down.
Descalso in his 5 years with the St. Louis Cardinals played in 529 games. Had a .243 batting average and 111 runs batted in.
So here now is the pitcher, John Gray. Struck out the first time up, trying to put a bunt down with 2 strikes. We're just trying to make contact. The infield is in. Second and third and 1 down. He's 1 for 22 in his career at the plate. And he'll take that, strike 1.
Last night, Charlie Blackmon at third base. First inning, nobody out. Went on contact. And Walt said today in the press conference he's never going to put runners on the contact play. That means when the ball's hit on the ground to run with nobody out. With 1 out, most of the time, second and third, he's going to put it. And when you have a pitcher hitting, he said almost always he would consider the contact play.
Showing bunts and a pitch out. Nothing's happening, and back to first base, Descalso. Check it, Reynolds. Descalso at second.
But you look at this situation, second and third, 1 out. Contact play, the infield drawn in is most likely going to be an out at home plate. So you would ask you'd ask Reynolds at third base to stand still because you're going to have Charlie Blackmon on deck.
Slash play there, and Gray swung through it. 1 and 2 on John Gray. That's a play Walt Weiss likes to put on. Gray not the great hitter like some of the other pitchers that the Rockies can put up there, like Russin and Tyler Chatwood. Walker looking for a strikeout, still working from the stretch. And missed away, and he stayed away from that fastball, did John Gray. 2 and 2. Let's do Cole at third. He made contact. He sprayed that one to the right side. Not a bad swing. A little late, but not a bad swing for John Gray.
If anything, you're getting more pitches out of Wacha. He's at 70 pitches now.
Top of the 4th. 2 runs are in for the Rockies. They've out-hit the opposition 6-5. Base hit to right field by John Gray. Reynolds scores, holding at third. Descalso, just the 2nd hit in the career for John Gray. It's an RBI, and the Rockies take the lead 5-4. Talk about helping yourself. John Gray with a base hit.
Nice piece of hitting, John Gray. And after fouling off that 2-2 fastball into the Cardinals dugout, you can see John Gray was sold out that he's going to get another fastball. Michael Wacha tried to blow it right by him. John Gray with a leg kick?
Yeah, how about that?
Well, his timing was located. Short swing, nice easy finish. Colton Wong has no chance on that. He actually hit the ground, pounded the ground after that ball went by him.
2nd career hit, 1st career RBI for John Gray. He's at first. And the runner at third, Descalso for Charlie Blackmon. The pitch, swing and a miss. He chased a pitch in the dirt there. Blackmon a single and a run scored last time he was up. And John Gray, a milestone. First RBI in his big league career. It was the leg kick.
I think so. John Gray's a slugger now.
Well, in his mind, he might be. Swing and a miss with Blackman again. An off-speed pitch, 86. And he kind of flailed to that one a little bit, 0-2.
Michael Wacha's going to try everything to get a strikeout against Charlie Blackman, and Charlie's going to do everything he can to just try to put the ball in play. Knowing how fast he runs down to first base, a ground ball, even though it's going to be in the infield, gets a run in.
And a ground ball to the right. Wong's got it. Second for one. That's all they're getting. The run will score. Scalzo moving from third to home, and the Rockies take a 6-4 lead over the Cardinals. It'll be an RBI for Blackman. He stays at first base. 2 down. Not a bad deal for John Gray either. Get to the dugout, catch your breath, get ready to pitch again, and bask in the glory of that first RBI. Let's see if Trevor Story keep this thing going. Big swing for Trevor back in the third, a 2-run double. And a pitch out. Blackman is not moving from first base. Ball 1.
Well, and even right there, Michael Wacha's missing location with the pitch out.
Charlie getting his good lead away from first. Matt Adams holds him on. And that missed away. 2-0. Hitters count for Trevor Story. Michael Wacha is 75 pitches now. Swing and a miss. He looked like anyway was on that pitch and swung through it.
Well, we're going to have to teach John Gray, after you get an RBI, when you come into the dugout, you have to give your teammates some high fives. He walks straight down to get ready for the next inning, and you can see the guys, hey, hold on, we'll give each other high fives.
Yeah, let's just get with each other. We care about John Gray. We'll just high five in general. 2-1 to Story. Blowing outside. 3-1 to Trevor. Right, I know this guy has got his share of strikeouts as a rookie, but he has worked pitchers very, very well.
Yeah, he really has. He's been working the count, fouling off a lot of tough pitches. And granted, he is striking out quite a bit. But when you're hitting for extra bases and you're doing the things that he's done, I can live with it. He's going to start to get to know this league a lot better.
Ground ball off the middle, and that's into center field. It's a base hit. Blackman's going to stop at second base, and the inning continues for the Rockies.
That's a great example. Again, shortening up the swing. He shortened it up his last at bat when he hit the double off Michael Wacha. And again, 2 strikes, putting the ball in play. Charlie Blackman put the ball in play, got the RBI. Slider, too much part of the plate. And just that short swing that Trevor Story's learning to use. His body's under control. You can see his body's behind the baseball. He's able, with as much strength as he has, to just fight that ball right up the middle.
6 hits in the inning for the Rockies. They've scored 4 times, 6 hits and a walk. And now Gonzalez, 9th man to hit in the inning. And ball 1 to Cargo.
Well, we haven't seen a home run on this road trip yet, Jerry. And right now would be the best time ever.
I can't disagree with that. Tyler Lyons loosening in the St. Louis pen. Pretty good swing put on that one, but he fouled it back. 1-1. 0 for 10 in the series for Cargo. Rockies have but 9 home runs as a team in this month of May. Tampa Bay Rays have 31 to lead baseball in this month. And that'll be a real good time. Pitch, ground ball, right to first base with a big hop. Adams has it. He'll beat Cargo to first base, and that's the inning for the Rockies. But they score 4 times and have taken a 6-4 lead. Hard Facts brought to you by Clean, Crisp, Coors Lights. The facts of St. Louis, Missouri. Pierre Laclede. Thank you, Doug Marino. Good stuff here, by the way. Big American history buff, by the way, you have right here. So, of course, this is where Lewis and Clark Expedition was founded. Just read the other day where the population of St. Louis was 1,300 when they took off up the Missouri River. Cold hard facts of St. Louis, Missouri. Back to action, 6-4. The Rockies lead. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Yadier Molina leads off. It into a double play his first time up. John Gray, 3 runs allowed first inning, 1 more in the second. And a good 3rd inning. Swing and a miss. Molina was late with that swing.
I think John Gray has realized that his fastball is beating this great offense with the St. Louis Cardinals, and with the movement he's getting down, the downward plane that he's getting with that fastball, he's going to continue to challenge the Cardinals hitters until they prove that they can hit it.
Yeah, Ryan, we talked so much at the outset about his slider. The fastball's been a better pitch so far tonight.
It really has been a better pitch.
Making an adjustment with his catcher, Tony Walters, whom, by the way, the pitchers love on this team. Fastball a little bit inside, and now 3-1 to Molina.
Well, we saw how important the walk was last inning when Michael Wacha walked Nolan Arenado. John Gray can't lead this inning off with a walk to Yadi Molina. You have to let him hit the baseball.
3-1 is outside. It's ball 4. Not the way the inning starts in John Gray's mind. The way you wanted to start anyway. In the first inning, hit by pitch was Diaz, and that started the rally. And then Grichuk walked, and he scored second inning.
The first 10,000 fans through the gates for the Rockies versus the Reds game on May the 31st will receive a coupon for a Hebrew National $1 hot dog. Look at George Frazier. That guy loves mayonnaise on his hot dogs.
Filling in on the radio tonight, George. There he is.
I was pounding on the window.
St. George. so spilling. Oh my! I love him. It's 2 guys right there to my right that like to have fun. Ryan Spilborghs and George Frazier. Good to see George again. Good to have him back. Jeremy Hazelbaker getting his first at bat, came in defensively. Puts a bunt down, pops it up, and that's going to drop in front of Arenado, and everybody's going to be safe. Oh, it looked like it could be an out, maybe a double play. Turns into an infield single. First and second, nobody out for the Cardinals.
Hazelbaker trying to catch the defense off guard. Ends up popping this one up, but it's still in the perfect location where Nolan can't get to it, John Gray can't get to it. No man's land.
Yeah, no chance for Arenado. Hazelbaker runs very well. First and second. Molina's at second. Hazelbaker at first. Colton Wong. And Brandon Moss is on deck. That might be it for Michael Wacha tonight. Swinging away. Foul tipped, held on by the catcher. One strike on Wong. So it looks like that's the night for Michael Wacha. The Rockies chasing him early on as Brandon Moss getting ready to hit. Breaking ball missed. That was the curveball by John Gray. That wasn't the hard slider. Came in at 79 miles an hour.
Well, the Rockies are having the mirror image of the inning that they had previously. Yadi Molina with the walk and then the bunt for hit, just like Gerardo Parra. Let's see if the Rockies can find a way out of this where the Cardinals couldn't.
1-1 pitch to Wong. Foul right back to the screen on a fastball at 96. John is at 61 pitches for the game. 38 for strikes. Big league start number 15 for John Gray. Took it 14 to get that first win. 1-2 pitch to Wong. That bounced up there. Great stop by Tony Wolters. That bounced in front of him, and he just got the chest protector on it. 2-2.
The importance of being able to keep the ball in front of you with the catcher. That pitch was in the other batter's box, and Wolters was able to slide his feet to get his body just enough in front of it to keep that ball in front of him.
Yeah, the quick feet by the catcher paying off there again for Wolters.
Great play. You'd like to make sure that doesn't go to waste.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Got him with the hard slider. Just what John Gray needed. 1 out.
And nothing Colton Wong can really do when the pitch is that filthy. High spin rate right under his hands. It was the pitch they tried to throw before. They wanted John Gray to go backdoor slider. This slider underneath the hand is virtually unhittable for a left-handed hitter. You look at the chase percentages for John Gray and look at him against the National League leaders, and that slider is really good. 47.4% chase percentage. Only John Lackey has a better chase percentage in the National League. Names stand out. Noah Syndergaard.
Talked about the fastball being a better pitch tonight, but that was a dandy slider. Now here's the pinch hitter, Brandon Moss. And a little bit low, ball one with a fastball.
I don't know, Lance. That one went right down the middle to me.
Picked up from the Cleveland Indians a year ago. Played 71 games last year for this team. That's a foul ball. 1-1. Brandon Moss in a bit of a slump. Homestand series, he's 0 for 5, and Moss 0 for his last 11. He is down. The Rockies trying to keep him down. 1 out, runners at first and second. In there for a strike.
Good pitch. Well, Brandon Moss and Matt Adams two left-handed first basemen, and typically that's not your ideal platoon situation. And I know from the Cardinals standpoint, they're hoping one player just takes it. I mean, pretty much flipping a coin every single day when you have two very similar players. Basically go, did he have good batting practice today?
Try to go backdoor that time with a slider, just missed with that. That didn't miss by a whole lot. 2-2.
I think John would like to be able to command the outside part of the plate to lefties with the slider, but he hasn't been able to establish that pitch yet. But inside the lefties with the slider, he's commanded that very well.
And outside, full count. Moss has been good with runners in scoring position. He has Molina at second base here. Gray has walked one already. That's the man standing at second, Molina. And did he go around? He did not. That is ball 4. It loads the bases. Second walk in the inning given by John Gray. Now he's got his hands full. Matt Carpenter's strolling up to the plate. Carpenter with his first hit in the series back in the second inning. It was an RBI double. Went off the top of the wall and right. How about this? Career with the bases loaded, 560 and 45 RBIs. Oh my.
I can see John Gray's getting frustrated by the strike calls by Lance Barksdale, but when you're spraying the ball throughout the strike zone, even though it may have crossed the plate, if you're missing location by a foot, you're not going to get the call.
He starts Carpenter with a curveball. Strike one. Carpenter out of TCU. Dad is a very successful retired high school baseball coach, Houston area. Rick Carpenter. Not Richard Carpenter from the Carpenters back in the 70s, the singing duo. Yeah, it's a different Rick Carpenter.
Or Karen Carpenter.
Right. It's not his mom. 0-1. Hit well to center. Charlie Blackmon's on the run. And it is off the base of the wall. 1 run scores, 2 will score. Throw home is late. That's a 2-run double for Matt Carpenter. His second double tonight, and we're tied back up.
Well, you always want to make sure you have a shutdown inning after you score runs on the Cardinals, and when you walk the leadoff hitter and you end up walking more than one the inning, you're playing with fire. And when you have a hitter as good as Matt Carpenter, especially with bases loaded, knowing that you're going to have to throw him strikes, he's going to be aggressive in the zone, and that's exactly what he does.
Now the Rockies have some bullpen action working. Here is Alamis Diaz. And it's Christian Bergman warming in the Rockies pen. Diaz is 0 for 2, been hit by a pitch, a ground ball pulled foul. Just foul down the line. So the pitching's so good for both these teams' first 2 games. Tonight, a different story. 12 runs have been scored. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Diaz 0 for 1. Officially, that wasn't at bat when he got hit by the pitch in the first inning, and he scored one of the 3 runs. Gray working from the stretch. 1 down. Runners at second and third. Swing and a miss. There's a great slider way out of the strike zone, and Diaz chased. John Gray got a strikeout of Colton Wong. He sure could use one here with Aledmys Diaz. 0-2 pitch. Slider is in the dirt. Good stop by Walters. Long look to get a sign for Gray. Has it now. One-two pitch. One hopper into right field. It's a base hit. Cardinals have taken the lead. Moss scores in the play. Carpenter stops at third base. That's an RBI single for Diaz. 7-6 St. Louis.
Again, 2 strikes with the Ledmus Diaz fastball, but out and up. He's able to put the ball in play. The guy standing on third base, second and third. That's a good piece of hitting by Diaz. Walt's probably seen enough. He's coming out here.
Yep, this is it for John Gray. So we got a pitching change. Gray gave up 3 runs early, and then he did all right second and third innings. This fourth inning, that leadoff walk really got to him, I believe, and he's going to be lifted for Christian Bergman. We've got a break in the action. Rockies down 7-6. We'll tell you about the numbers and Christian Bergman in a moment. Colorado Rockies baseball and Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Back in St. Louis, a pitching change. The Rockies, who were down 7-6. Lots of offense in Game 3 we didn't see in Games 1 or 2 here at Busch Stadium. And now Christian Bergman takes over for the Rockies.
And Christian Bergman has not thrown since the 10th of May against Arizona, where he threw 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run. His whip 1.53, but Christian his role has always been to bridge the gap, keep the Rockies in the game long enough, eat up some of the innings to make sure that the Rockies have a chance late in the game to hand it back over to the back end of the bullpen.
First and third for the Cardinals, Matt Holliday. Carpenter at third, Diaz at first, and a pop-up. Foul ground on the right side. Reynolds is going to make the catch. Throws home, and then holding at third base, Carpenter will scamper back to the bag. Boy, a basket catch made by Reynolds. Thought maybe he was going to give way to Descalso, but he stayed with it. 2 outs.
It's a great play by Mark Reynolds. This is no man's land for both guys. Daniel Descalso trying to help out Mark Reynolds and really catches the ball and corrals it. Never went in his glove. Looks like he pressed it up against his body. And then he makes this great sidearm throw and ends up on the ground.
Carpenter doing the right thing, drawing a throw from third base, but he holds. So 2 outs, runners at first and third still for Bergman. And swinging and a miss with Stephen Piscotty. Really hitting the ball well these days, and against the Rockies in his career. 2 for 2 tonight. He's 12 for 24 against Colorado in his career. And with runners in scoring position, outstanding this season. And that's in there for a strike. 0-2 with Piscotty.
Well, surprisingly, Christian Bergman leads the team with the pace that we've been talking about. The pitches in between, the time in between pitches.
Yeah, gets it and goes. 0-2 pitch. Missed outside. 1-2. Stephen Piscotty, Stanford University product. He's from the Bay Area. Parents still have season tickets to the Giants games. Urban trying to get this last out. A little bit high, maybe tight. The count 2-2. So just 3 1/3 innings for Jon Gray tonight after 2 outstanding starts back to back. 1 on the road and 1 at home. The walks hurt tonight. And a line drive, fair ball down the left field line. Carpenter scores. Hustling over to get it is Parra, and then holding at third base is Diaz. Into second base goes Piscotty. His assault against the Rockies continue, and the Cardinals add on. 8-6 they lead.
He has been very impressive. He's been hitting .371 over the last 15 games, and if you're looking at some of the numbers for Stephen Piscotty, he was struggling against off-speed pitches earlier this season. Now he's up .358 batting average against off-speed pitch, but more impressive, he's hitting .394 on pitches inside, and that's where the Rockies have been trying to expose him. But watch how quick he is inside, being able to pull his hands in, and to keep that baseball fair is extremely difficult to do.
Matt Adams will take a pitch outside. This is the 9th hitter in the inning for the Cardinals. Adams with a big 2-run single first inning. Struck out last time against Jon Gray. Second, third for the Cardinals, 2 outs. And foul to the screen. We're in the 4th inning. 14 runs is scored and 17 hits.
Yeah, this is not the game I was expecting to see. I wasn't expecting this much offense this early in the game. Both starters ran out of here after 4 innings.
Swing and a miss by Adams on a high fastball. 1-2 on Matt Adams. 4-run 4th inning for the Rockies, and the Cardinals come back with 4 runs in this inning. Rockies trying to keep it at 4. 8-6 they trail. Fouled away.
There are the runs that we were talking about. Both very high-powered, very good offenses, and for the first 2 games they've only scored 3 runs apiece, but tonight 14 runs combined. We're only 4 innings into the game.
A little high and tight to Matt Adams. 2-2. Tough one for Jon Gray, especially after the last 2 starts he had. I think especially after the last home start he had, where he hadn't had much success. Coors Field he did last time out. Different story tonight. Base hit to right field. That's going to score 2 more. Matt Adams with another big hit for his team. He had a 2-run single in the first, another 2-run single. 10-6 Cardinals.
And Matt Adams, .364 batting average this year with runners in scoring position and a .350 batting average here at Busch Stadium. He has been tormenting the Rockies today. And Adams with the 2-strike count, took some close pitches and then finds a spot in the zone where he's able to put the ball in play.
Now here's Yadier Molina at the plate. He's the guy that's got this rally started with a walk. He'll line down the right field line. That is going to be foul ball. He almost had himself an extra base hit. So Molina hitting for the second time in the inning.
Well, and for John Gray tonight, every hit by pitch, he had one, and then the 3 walks all came around to score.
The Rockies had a long inning against the Cardinals in this 4th, and the Cardinals have returned the favor against Rockies pitching. That's in there. It's a strike. 0-2 on Molina. Breaking ball missed by Bergman. 1-2. Youngest of the 3 Molina catching brothers that have played Major League Baseball, Benji and Jose. And of the 3, this guy's had the best career for sure. The other 2 weren't too shabby, but this guy's had a wonderful career with the Cardinals. The Puerto Rico. The pitch. And missed.
Most 10-run games in 2016. The St. Louis Cardinals lead now with 9. Colorado Rockies are second with 6.
And fouled away. Spilled a pretty good pitch there by Christian Bergman. Count holds 2-2. The Rockies down 10-6, but it is early in the 4th inning here.
You're right, Jerry. And the way everybody's been taking their at-bats, it's going to be a long night. Still think that we're going to see quite a bit of offense on both sides tonight.
And that ball's hit well to left center field. Parra is moving over onto the track, and he makes a catch up against the fence. It's a long out, number 3 for Molina, and a long inning for the Rockies. 6 runs scored by the Cardinals. 10-6 St. Louis. We're in the top of the 5th inning with a 10-6 lead for St. Louis. 16 runs, 18 hits between these 2 teams. UC Health is tracking the number of walks and the distance the Rockies earn throughout the season. Start tracking your own steps today to get fit. So far this season, the Rockies with 118 walks, and that's a total of 10,620 feet. Walk the Rockies, brought to you by UC Health. Tyler Lyons will come on to pitch now for the Cardinals, a left-hander, and he'll face first Brandon Moss at first base. He'll face first Nolan Arenado. Moss takes over at first for Matt Adams. Walker lasted just the 4 innings. He gave up 6 earned runs. And here's the numbers for Tyler Lyons, Ryan.
Well, and Tyler Lyons became the first starting pitcher in MLB history to throw back-to-back 7 innings plus with less than 1 run. Now he's been a reliever. He's had to deal with several shoulder injuries, and be interesting to see how long they ask him to throw tonight.
Arenado takes ball 1 high, no one with a walk and a run scored when the Rockies got 4 last inning, that 4th inning. They went around the lineup. They batted through. And that pitch is in there, 1 ball, 1 strike. He grounded out to second, first time up. Lyons works from a windup, the former starter. And it's a 1-hopper. Wong got it. Good short hop from the first base and out number 1. I think no one got that ball off the hand a little bit, but a good play by Kolten Wong.
Be at Coors Field when the Rockies take on the San Francisco Giants May 27th through the 29th. Get your tickets today.
One down for Gerardo Parra. Put that bunt single down last inning. He scored one of those Rockies 4 runs. Strike 1 from Lyons. John Gray charged with 9 earned runs on 8 hits, 3 1/3 innings. Strike 2. Rockies entering play tonight, second the division, 2.5 games back of San Francisco. And that missed away to Parra. 1-2 on Gerardo Parra. That loss last night for the Rockies stopped a 5-game winning streak, and it was the first time they've been shut out this year, and they bounced back to score 6 runs already tonight. But down 10-6. Rockies open a 3-game set in Pittsburgh tomorrow night. Eddie Butler gets the ball for the Rockies. Tyler Chatwood on Saturday and Chad Bettis on Sunday. And holding up was Parra, 2-2. Chopped it off the plate, charged by Wong. He'll flip over to first to get the out. 2 good plays by Kolten Wong at second base. Ryan, tonight one of those nights where you ask pitchers like Bergman and Lyons to give you some more innings.
You're going to have to get some depth. You're going to have to, if things get out of hand and if Christian Bergman ends up giving more runs, he's going to have to stand out there and try to eat up the rest of the game as much as you can. And same with Lyons tonight. If the Cardinals keep tacking on, he's going to pretty much be out here the rest of the night. So for the Rockies hitters is understand that you're going to see this guy for a couple of at-bats.
Mark Reynolds swings and fouls the first pitch back.
And that's been so important for Walt this year, is being able to manage the bullpen. And we were talking with him earlier about how it allows him to use guys in spots that they can succeed. You're not having to pull your start out after 4 innings and then have to use just bodies to get through the game.
Mark Reynolds not happy with a call by Lance Barksdale.
Mark Reynolds is arguing that the pitch is down, and Barksdale saying no in the way that Yachty received it.
And he gets rung up by Lance Barksdale. 1-2-3 inning for Lyons against the Rockies. Middle of the 5th. The wild one. 10-6 Cardinals. Some of the landmarks in St. Louis, Missouri, of course, maybe at the top of the list, the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. This place opened in 1852. Free public tours daily, and by the way, for those who like to indulge, each tour comes with 2 free beers at the end. Well, that's going to be it for tonight. Christian Bergman, we thought he would get some more action, but this is Justin Miller taking over, and Miller was warming up very quickly in the bullpen. We saw Christian Bergman in the dugout with his jacket on, so he's out, and now Justin Miller takes over.
Well, I think based on how Walt came out and talked to Lance Barksdale in between innings, that maybe something came up with Christian Bergman, whether there's an injury, who knows, but we'll try to get more information on that. But Justin Miller, again, very similar to Christian Bergman, has not pitched since May the 9th. Last outing was against Arizona, where he threw an inning. You lose your long guy. Now you're going to ask Justin Miller to pick up a couple innings tonight as well.
You're talking about the Rockies with their good starting pitching on the road, and you look back at the last 4 road games, the starters had allowed 3 earned runs and 25 2/3. Tonight, 3 1/3 and 9 earned runs for John Gray.
Well, and it wasn't just one side of the baseball. The other team too. Michael Wacha gave up 6 runs in consecutive starts for the first time in his entire career.
Give Justin Miller some extra time to warm up here, and then we'll get going here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live and in true HD on over 400 devices. It's a beautiful sunset.
And welcome back to our booth here at Busch Stadium. Jerry Schimmel with Ryan Spilborghs. And Spilly, I can't get over the contrast to the first 2 games in this one tonight. I really thought with Walk and Gray we'd have a pitcher's duel again. And that's the unpredictability of baseball.
Well, and you had 2 offenses that were just chomping at the bit to score some runs. They've only scored 3 runs each the last 2 games, and you knew something had to give. But against John Gray, I wasn't expecting that. Against Michael Wacha, the way he was pitching through the first couple innings, I wasn't expecting that either. But watching John Gray, every single walk and hit by pitch ended up coming around to score and hurt him. Same with Michael Wacha. So walks hurt.
In that crazy game of baseball, that's what happens to a pitcher, especially young pitcher, correct?
Yes, it does. And when you don't have fastball command and you end up walking after your team scores runs, it's a game of momentum. Yep. It shifts so fast.
Jeremy Hazelbaker hitting for the 2nd time of the game. He, after the walk by Molina in that 4th inning, got that bunt single down, just popped it up on the third base side. It dropped, and Arenado had no play. So Hazelbaker get a start in the outfield in game 1, off the bench tonight for Grichuk. And that's in there for strike, 95 miles an hour. So good velocity for Justin Miller.
Well, his arm should be fresh. He hasn't pitched in 10 days.
Yeah, the Rocky starters have been so good they haven't need that bridge guy that Ryan was talking about. You go 6-7 innings with your starter, and then you hand off to guys like Estevez and McGee. Bypass guys like Miller. Swing and a miss. There's strike 3. So after a long 4th inning, good to see a strikeout to start the 5th inning for a Rockies pitcher. And Colton Wong will come up. Cardinals interplay 8 games back of the Cubs in the National League Central. They'll continue this homestand. They'll get 3 against Arizona after the Rockies leave. And then the Cubs are in town for 3, which will be interesting. That's early next week here at Busch Stadium. That one's lifted in the shallow right. Could be trouble. Descalso going out and makes a grab. Good running catch by the Rockies second baseman.
That is a fantastic play by Daniel Descalso. Part of when you're running from second base, you see he takes his eyes off the ball just so he can get a little bit faster. That's a tough play. No man's land in between the outfielder in the infielder. And for an outfielder, when you see a play like this, if you're going to try to make an attempt, you have to be loud. And you have to call early, otherwise you can put yourself in a collision.
2 outs, nobody on for the Cardinals. Brandon Moss hitting. Strike 1. We've seen DJ LeMahieu make that play so many times, and now Descalso in for DJ tonight making that play. Moss drew a walk back in the 4th inning. And it's low, 1-1. So you got John Gray going just to 3 1/3, and then Christian Bergman getting 1 out, and that's it for. That's your long man. Christian Bergman gets 1 out, and he's out of the ball game. And now it's Miller time.
We're in Budweiser country.
I know. One pitch. It's in there for a strike. A lot of strikes being thrown by Justin Miller here. Went off speed that time. Thrown 7 pitches, 6 for strikes. And what the Rockies need here in the 5th is a 1-2-3 inning. Down 10-6. Cardinals have 10 runs on 10 hits. Just missed outside there. Hit his target, Miller did, but missed with that. 2-2.
It has been strange for Rocky starters not to go deep into the game. The last 11 straight games, Rocky starters have thrown at least 5 innings pitched. They've done it in 17 out of 18 games. So the starters, you can see, they've been good,
especially on the road. Popped up on the infield, and Miller has a chance for a 1-2-3 inning. Reynolds will take charge and make the catch, and that's that for the Cardinals in the 5th inning. We'll head to the 6th. The Rockies have some catching up to do, but there's a lot of game left. 10-6, St. Louis.
And
Top 6, there's the former Redbird Daniel Descalso. He's had a nice game today. He's got a couple of hits, couple of ribbies, couple of runs, a nice hit. He broke a bone in his hand here in spring training, just coming back, and I asked Walt Weiss today if he wanted him to play here in St. Louis tonight.
I just need to get him involved. You know, he's been away from the club all year, just got back to us, and he means so much to our culture, and he's got a lot of respect in the clubhouse. You know, you want to keep those guys in the mix.
And Jerry and Ryan, as we watch this pitch, he only had 15 at-bats at Albuquerque in 4 games. He went 6 for 15. He only had about 12, I think, in spring training. So, like you said, Ryan, this is like opening day.
He's hitting here. He's got 2 hits tonight in the count of 1 ball, 1 strike.
Strange to be really playing your first game late in May. It's not normal for a baseball player. Last time Daniel Descalso had 2 hits, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs in a game, he was a member of the Cardinals versus the Rockies.
Bouncing ball. Wong's got this one. Quick flip to first base. He'll get Descalso.
Stop hitting it to Wong.
He's been good defensively tonight. So Descalso out for the first time tonight. 2 for 3 now. And Tony Walters will come up against Tyler Lyons.
Wow, Colton Wong has 6 assists tonight. He's going to need an ice bath.
He's one of the very few Cardinals that hasn't contributed offensively, however, tonight. He's 0 for 3. But making up for it with a glove. Walters will look for a strike, and no, he missed outside. Ball 1. Tony's 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout and a ground out. And in there for a strike. Justin Miller might have a chance to hit. He's in the on-deck circle for the Rockies. Keep pitching, so get a chance to hit. There he is. Justin Miller doesn't get very many opportunities to swing the bat. I think I'd mentioned earlier that Bergman got 1 out. Christian Bergman got 2 outs before he left, charged with 1 run, and John Gray the other 9. He'll get in there for a strike. Breaking ball at 80 miles an hour. Tony Walters just began catching 3 years ago in the minors, playing for the Cleveland Indians minor league organization. A great adjustment defensively. Swinging and a miss there. He's out in front. 2 outs.
We talk about Daniel Descalso starting his season so late. Another group of guys that have yet to have their first opening day is the Yard Goats, as they've been having problems with the stadium being completed. They're going to push their start date back to sometime late in June, so that AA team and the Hartford Yard Goats, they still don't have a home yet.
4th career plate appearance for Justin Miller. First at bat this year for Miller. Swings and fouls the first pitch, and the next one fouled again. 0-2. Yeah, for a team that doesn't have a home field, they're playing pretty well, aren't they?
They are playing very well, and it's also a lot to ask from a young group of men to be on the road for that long. Pretty difficult situation being a coach, being a player, but they're doing their best with it.
I think that would wear on you after a while.
Well, you look at the guys that are there, the Marquezes, the David Dahls, the Kyle Freelands, and you're trying to protect them.
And strike 3 called with Justin Miller. A 1-2-3-6 of the Rockies against Lions. Middle of the 6th inning, and a 10-6 lead for the home team. it's time for our Cooney Lexus look back. We take a look back at this wild game here in St. Louis. Danny Descalso, the former Cardinal, with a 2-run single that made it 4-4. John Gray with his first Major League RBI, base hit the other way, put the Rockies up 5-4. But then the bottom of the 4th inning for the Cardinals was a long one. Diaz into the action for the Cardinals. Ended up scoring 6 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning to break this game open. And they've got now a 10-6 lead heading the bottom of the 6th inning. That was our Cooney Lexus look back. 10 runs on 10 hits for the Cardinals, 6 runs, 8 hits for the Rockies. Justin Miller back on the mound for Colorado. Top of the order, Matt Carpenter for the Cardinals. Carpenter with a couple of base hits. He was hitless in the series until his second at bat when he hit a double, and his next at bat hit a double. 3 RBIs on the night.
Yeah, I blame this guy for all the woes we've seen with tonight's starting pitching.
We talked earlier, Ryan, about the Cardinals plucking guys late in the draft. Here's a 13th round pick, Matt Carpenter.
I think you look up and down their roster, so many homegrown guys. And if you come into the St. Louis Cardinals organization, you feel like you have a shot.
Yep.
You don't have to be the first rounder or first overall pick. Granted, they've done well with their first picks. Michael Wacha being one of them. Randall Grichuk, Stephen Piscotty.
I thought Descalso said something interesting. We asked him about playing for the Cardinals. This was last year. He said when you play for the Cardinals, they treat everybody the same. They treat the #1 pick the same as the 40th pick. And he said that takes pressure off the high draft picks and makes the lower draft picks feel better. Swing and a miss by Carpenter there, and Miller got him.
Catch the best fireworks show in town this summer on Friday, July 8th and Saturday, July 9th, following the game versus the Philadelphia Phillies. And the Phillies have been good this year. Surprise. Yeah. Great surprise for baseball.
I think the biggest surprise in the game these days, team-wise, Phillies. Maybe Houston the other way. The Astros might be a little better than they are.
Oh, no doubt. That's a great one, Jerry.
Now, Ledmy's Diaz, the shortstop. He scored twice. I'll foul that one away. Let's get back to that Cardinal way, Ryan. Descalso also telling us that the word was in their system, if a coach or manager in the minor leagues was found to be treating someone differently than someone else, fired. He said they didn't put up with that at all.
I remember seeing guys throughout my entire steps through the minor leagues. We played the Cardinals in Springfield. That's at AA, and then we played against them in AAA with Memphis. And you'll see players that were great. Saw Shelby Miller down in the minor leagues. Saw Joe Kelly, who's now with Boston, another great arm. And the numbers that they were putting up were great numbers, but somebody else was passing them. And I was curious. I go, why aren't they calling them up? And they said, because they're not doing it quite right yet.
The Cardinal way, they call it around here. Ground ball to second. Descalso's got a big hop. And out #2. Nice work by Justin Miller. He's retired the 5 Cardinals that he has seen. We got one more going this inning. Matt Holliday, the former Rocky. 5 years with the Rockies. Parts of 5 years for Holliday. That 07 season, right? You remember this one, Ryan. 36 homers, 137 RBIs in a Rockies uniform.
Unbelievable. And listening to the fans at Coors Field cheer and chant MVP. And I talked to this story the other night. Being a guy that was homegrown and coming from where we did as an organization, I never thought I'd hear that chant at Coors Field. To be considered MVP in the playoffs, it was incredible. It was an incredible moment, and I know Matt really relished in it. And then the one year that Jimmy Rollins had, that was ridiculous.
Yep.
Ends up beating Holliday. He should have been an MVP.
Foul tip held on by Walters, and Miller's working ahead of this hitter, 0-2. He's got a couple of strikeouts, 2 pop outs, and a ground ball out. Bottom of the 6th, 10-6 Cardinals. A 6-run 4th inning for St. Louis. Go around, he did not. He held his swings as a first base umpire. Over there, Jim Wolf. 1-2.
It's weird. I saw Jackson Holiday. That's Matt's oldest child. He has 4 now. And he used to throw baseballs to Jackson in the batting cage all the time. I've known him since he was 3 years old. And got to see him this week when I'm in St. Louis. Jackson's now a 13-year-old and goofy-looking kid.
It's interesting. Matt will put him in the outfield during batting practice. Shag, they're no problem at all. Shagging flies out there. Don't have to worry about them getting hurt or anything. They're running them down. It's a baseball family. 2-2 pitch. Sprayed it foul out of play. And folks forget what a great athlete Matt Holliday was. He was an All-American high school quarterback. He was the #2 ranked high school quarterback his senior year at Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Well, and Matt was telling me a story about at Oklahoma State. Les Miles was the coach that tried to recruit him to come play football, and Les Miles now with LSU. But Holliday made an attempt to go say hi to Les Miles and say, hey, how are you doing? And he saw him last year in Tuscaloosa. LSU is playing Alabama. And Matt told me the story. He lives in Jupiter now, and his neighbors were huge Alabama program boosters and had these great seats and a suite in Tuscaloosa. And Holliday was able to get them onto the field. Nice. That'll work. So Holliday says, you know, as good as your connections are, mine are better.
Yeah. Good battle here, Justin Miller and Matt Holliday. Got him. Good pitch by Justin Miller. Hard slider takes care of Holliday, and a 1-2-3-6 for Justin Miller. Rockies trying to get the offense cranked back up. And looks like Jorge's still trying to find some traction in the minors and rehab starts.
Well, I think if you're paying attention to it and talking to Walt today about Jorge De La Rosa with the media scrum, all 4 of us,
You and I were half of that scrum.
Yeah, we were half of it. He's got to be more efficient.
Yep.
You look at the balls to strikes tonight, 29 strikes now, 21 balls. That's not efficient. And when you looked at tonight with John Gray, not able to get through 4, you put the Rockies team with the great starting pitching that they've been getting, you put them in a tough spot because now you're asking your bullpen to get a lot more outs.
Long, another assist. That's number 7 tonight. And Charlie Blackmon one down in the 7th inning.
And for me, what was so disappointing about the start tonight for John Gray was what we call the shutdown inning. So after you score 4 in the top of the 4th, just to turn around and give it back, and it started with a walk. Those are going to be the, you know, if you're trying to be top of the rotation, frontline starter, that can't happen.
Trevor Story's had a good night. 2 hits for the rookie shortstop, a 2-run double and a single. Struck out the first time. Tyler Lyons back on the hill for the Cardinals. Missed outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Trevor. Ryan, in your mind, would this is a long shot, would the base hit by Gray having to do with him letting up a little bit pitching? First RBI and all that?
I would assume not. I mean, I just saw him come out there and they took as long as they could. Trevor Story still pushed the inning longer. After he scored, he slowed the game down for him.
Trevor lets that go. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And he ends up getting the base hit, and Cargo took a long at bat. So there's time in between John Gray scoring and sitting down. And then when I watched that inning, I mean, the pitches to Yachty, they're just missing targets.
Fly ball to left. Holiday going back. This has a chance to get out of here, and it is gone. Trevor Story with the home run. Haven't seen one of those for a while from Trevor. That's got to feel good. His 3rd homer, I'm sorry, his 3rd hit tonight. And the Rockies get one back. 10-7 Cardinals.
Wow, and we've been talking about having had a home run in a long time, and that home run comes at a very good opportunity because the Rockies need to find a way to get some more runs. Haven't been able to piece a couple of bats against Lions, and you get a hanging curveball, and Trevor Story, the strength, and I keep talking about the leg kick. The leg kick is keeping him so much more under control and balanced. He's still hitting behind it. And that's a lot of arm strength and power behind Trevor Story's swing.
Yeah, he's a stronger young man with the upper body than people think he is.
Just hear the sound of it off a hanging curveball. Nobody's been able to drive the ball out of the yard the last 3 days.
This is more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark, so you get one here, it's not cheap. It was a towering blast. So Trevor Story, 12th homer this year, and the Rockies been out hit now 10-9. It's a 3-run game in the 7th. Makes it interesting.
That's funny. I put a Trevor Story jersey on my dog. Now he won't stay in the yard. That's good.
It is good. Two and 2 on Gonzalez, and Garger looking for his first hit. 0 for 3. He's knocked the ball hard tonight. Swing and a miss, and got him. 0 for 4 for Gonzalez. Well, the Rockies have 7 runs, so that means you've got tacos. 7 runs, tacos for everybody. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 p.m. to get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Thank you, Trevor. 2 away, Nolan Arenado. And it's time for the Colorado Lottery pitch probability. This is interesting here. Arenado against left-handed pitching.
Oh, I like watching the probabilities. It's always great to see the numbers and how people attack each other. And this will show all lefties in the major leagues versus Nolan. So it gives you a good understanding on how they try to attack him.
3-0 to him here.
Or not attack him. You know what? 3-0. I'm fine with, if Nolan wants to take a good swing right here, a good aggressive cut, I'm fine with him taking a good swing. He's not gonna swing.
Yeah, he didn't swing much on 3-0. I think in this point in the game, 10-7 is not gonna do it. He draws the walk, so good enough. Second walk he's drawn tonight. He walked and scored in the 4th inning. So we got a ground out, a home run, a strikeout, and a walk given up by Tyler Lyons. Gerardo Parra 1 for 3, put a bunt single down in that inning where the Rockies got their 4 runs. That was the 4th inning. He had 2 in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th, and the solo home run here in the 7th. Gets in there, strike 1, a breaking pitch. Parra's got a lefty here. Traditionally, he's hit lefties pretty well in his career. That's a ground ball hit to short, and that'll be out number 3 on the force at second base. Rockies get the home run from Trevor Story, a solo shot, his 12th of the year, to make it an interesting game. It's 10-7. Cardinals with the lead. 7th inning stretch here in St. Louis. Back to Busch Stadium after this. Kubota pitching performance. We're looking at the starters for this game tonight, and this is not real pretty, Ryan. The starters get roughed up, both of them, this evening.
That is not the line that you want to see, and it's shocking that it came from both of these guys. Michael Wacha losing 4 straight, and John Gray coming off his first major league win. I think you and I were talking about this in the open. Which guy are we going to see tonight? I was hoping to see John Gray take another step forward. We saw back-to-back great starts, once on the road, a great start at home. And then Michael Wacha, who's been struggling of late. The Cardinals were hoping to see the good Michael Wacha. You saw him for maybe 2 innings, and same with John Gray.
And Scott Oberg taking over for the Rockies. Good work by Justin Miller tonight.
He did a great job, and Oberg, another guy that has not pitched in 10 games, 10 days, and you're going to see him get his work in.
New left fielder for the Rockies, Ryan Rayburn. The night for Gerardo Parra has come to an end. Here's the Rocky killer, Stephen Piscotty. Just tonight, but really in his career, he's hitting over 500 against the Rockies, and 3 for 3 tonight. He He has a pair of doubles. He scored twice. Single. When he singled, he got caught stealing. That's the only blemish for him tonight. Oh, he chased a pitch there. Good slider thrown by Scott Oberg. Actually, might have been the curveball that he throws pretty well. 1-2.
And because of that Trevor Story home run, the Rockies really are right in this game. Yeah. You look at, you have 6 outs to work with.
They needed a run. Story gave them that. They could use some more, obviously. And then Justin Miller with 2 scoreless innings, helping out the cause, keeping the game where it is.
You're going to need Oberg to continue to pass the baton back towards the offense to try to get you back in the game. This is another shutdown inning. You score that run, you cannot let the Cardinals come back and answer.
2-2s in the dirt. Now Oberg goes a full count with Piscotty. And on deck now, Jed Jerko, the former Padre, picked up a trade in the offseason by St. Louis. He's not started a game in this series. He always seems to hit well against the Rockies as well. Oberg shaking off several signs from Wolters. And that hit him. Piscotty got hit by a pitch from Scott Oberg. He takes first base. Leadoff man aboard.
Fans elect a Rockies player to celebrate during the Thursday, June 1st game. Buy the special ticket package and get the exclusive player elect personalized t-shirt. So my guess is that you're going to pick a player and then you get his jersey.
Man at first base, Piscotty. Here's the pinch hitter, Jed Jerko. Jerko has played third, short, and second this year. He has 19 starts, coming off the bench in all 3 of these games. And just a .210 hitter. And high and tight, ball 1 to him. West Virginia University product. John Jay went in the trade to San Diego, and the Cardinals got this guy. A little pop in his bat. Hadn't had a lot of at bats, but 4 home runs. Here's a strike from Oberg. Rockies out hit 10-9 of the game. 10-7 they trail, bottom of 7th. Nobody out, man at first. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Scott Oberg there. Hard slider. Piscotty, the second Cardinal that's been hit tonight. John Gray hit Diaz back in the first. That opened up the inning for the Cardinals. They scored 3 times after Diaz got hit. A walk to Grichuk in the second led to a run. And a couple more walks in the fourth. They both scored. Fouled away by Jerko, 1-2. Talking to Scott Oberg yesterday, we had him on the radio, and he was saying one of the things that he knows he has to do is throw more strikes. He said, I just walk too many guys. I know it's gonna hurt me. I seem to walk somebody, and then somebody hits a blooper, somebody hits a home run. All of a sudden, I've given up runs.
Well, and that's the thing that Walt Weiss has been preaching, and Darren Holmes and Steve Foster about this team. Don't be last in baseball. Last year, in the years past, the Rockies' entire staff was the worst in baseball as far as walks per 9, and this year they've improved so much more.
Last year for the Rockies, most walks issued and the fewest strikeouts as a staff. That's not the combination you're looking for. Oberg's next pitch, swing and a miss. He got Jed Jerko on an off-speed pitch. Good pitch by Scott Oberg, out number 1.
Well, when you haven't pitched in 10 days, of course, you might have a little bit of jitters, or you might have a little bit of rust. Maybe why you walked the first batter, but you can see the depth on the curveball. jerk of being with the pinch hitter, it's a tough pitch to handle.
Talking to Darren Holmes, the bullpen coach the other day, he said this guy's got great stuff. He really does. He's got a terrific mid-90s fastball. His slider's good. He's got a good hook, good curveball. Now here Molina takes a pitch low. It's just a matter of being consistent and throwing some more strikes. He says you got to challenge hitters.
And that's something hitters give the pitchers too much credit at times. Where you look at a pitcher like a Michael Wacha, oh man, this guy's an ace. You get after him and you end up hitting him. And then same with pitchers. Pitchers will give the hitters too much credit. Oh, I have to be perfect on this spot. I have to be perfect with my location. I can't miss up here. When you're attacking on both sides, whether you're hitting and you have an aggressive mindset or whether you're pitching and you have the aggressive mindset, typically the aggressor wins a lot of the battles.
Molina fouls that one away. Solberg working ahead 1-2.
I can already feel the question marks. Well, what are you talking about, Sbilly? The aggressor typically wins the battles. Well, why wouldn't you be aggressive every time? Well, baseball is tied into your confidence, and confidence is always tied into results. So if you're not getting the results that you're accustomed to, it's hard to feel aggressive. It's hard to be confident. And that's why when you watch a guy like Michael Wacha, gave up 6 runs last start. Tonight,
Molina drives one to deep left center field. Parra on the track, makes a catch up against a fence. Rayburn in left field, I'm sorry, not Parra, and then back to first base, scampers Piscotty. Yeah, Rayburn in left came in for Parra. He looked like Parra on that play. What a catch.
That was a great catch, and Yadi Molina is dragging his bat back to the dugout. He can't figure out what he has to do to drive the ball out of this ballpark. Well, you don't have Trevor Story's pop, and Ryan Rayburn, what a play. Reaching, keeping an eye on the baseball, that's tough. No, looking at the warning track, look at Molina. What do you have to do?
Yeah, they did the same thing last time up when Parra was out in left field. That was interesting. That ball looked like it was going to get by him. He stuck his glove out right at the last split second to grab that thing. Extended his arm. You know, he's not known as a great defender, but he's made some very good plays this year.
And he's been versatile. He can play infield if Walt needs him to. Put the bat in the lineup. He's been a very pleasant surprise, just as Mark Reynolds has been.
Terrific teammate, too. Always got the positive energy going. Ryan Rayburn, been a clutch hitter for the Rockies and some clutch defensive plays like that one.
I love Yadi's reaction, though. He's been hitting the ball hard. He's squared up most of the balls tonight. Got a fly ball to left field in the 4th inning to end the inning. And he's squared up, and that one right there. Yadi doesn't have a homer yet this season.
Hazelbaker drives to center. Blackman slides, and he makes a catch.
Good defense by the Rockies outfield.
That'll take care of the Cardinals in the 7th inning. The Rockies are hanging around. 10-7 the score. We'll head to the 8th after these messages on Root Sports. Our little tour around St. Louis while we're here in this series. We'll stop at Ted Drew's Frozen Custard, chain of custard shops here in St. Louis, founded by Ted Drew in 1930. They're best known for what they call concretes, which is, Ryan, I know you didn't know this, a blended custard.
And it just sits in your stomach like concrete.
You've been there too, huh?
Yep.
10-7, the Rockies trail. We're in the top of the 8th inning. All the scoring done early, and the Rockies came back with a solo home run 7th inning by Trevor Story, and now a new pitcher for the Cardinals.
Well, and this is what they call the final boss, Engwan Oh. We saw him the other night, and he struck out the Rockies in consecutive order. Filthy slider, good fastball command. Has 5 pitches he can throw at you.
Yeah, struck out the side against the Rockies. Really impressive. Mark Reynolds starts it. Ball 1.
Did you ever have a cool nickname besides Jer Bear?
No.
The final boss, it has to be one of the best ones.
The final boss is a good one. The final boss. Translated in Japanese is what?
I can't.
I have no idea.
And he's Korean, but he played 2 years in Japan prior to signing with the St. Louis Cardinals.
So
and
I thought maybe he would know some Japanese because you played over there.
But you know what? A lot of the Koreans speak Japanese.
Good pitch there. Slider thrown to Reynolds.
Another Korean player that played in Japan when I was there and is now with the Seattle Mariners is Deo Lee, big first baseman.
He's a big boy, isn't he?
He is a very large human.
Don't see too many of those coming from Japan. Broken bat roller towards short. Diaz. He's got Reynolds, 1 down. You know, the day after every Rockies win, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Use the promo code ROXWIN, ROXWIN, at papajohns.com. That is my son's favorite promotion. 50% off Papa John's after win. He takes advantage of that one.
Been paying attention to Jorge De La Rosa and his rehab assignment. He has retired the last 10 straight batters, so he's starting to settle down.
Good. Descalso looking for his 3rd hit tonight, a single and a 2-run single, so 2 for 3, grounded out to Wong last time. Pitch fouled away off the bat of Descalso. So unlike the last time, which is on Monday night, or Tuesday night I should say, the Rockies actually put a ball in play against this guy.
It's an improvement.
Getting there.
Well, in 19 games, O has had 17 scoreless outings, 20 2/3 of an inning. He's only given up 10 hits, 27 strikeouts. When you look at this Cardinals bullpen with O and Jonathan Broxton, 2 guys that have had a lot of saves, Trevor Rosenthal. That'd be weird if Trevor Story went on the other side and saved games for the Cardinals.
That'd be really weird, wouldn't it? What if Trevor Rosenthal played short for the Rockies? They switched. There he is. That'd be really weird if they switched.
Super strange.
2-2 on Descalso. Pitched by O on the way, and strike 3 call. Off the outside corner with the pitch at 85 miles an hour. He's got some great stuff. 2 down. Tony Walters to try to get something going for the Rockies here in the 8th with 2 outs. Tony looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3, struck out twice. And a 191 batting average for the year. Made the most of his hits. He's got 8 RBIs. Drops in there for a strike, a breaking ball. Rockies on to Pittsburgh, day off on Monday, and then on to Boston for 3. 0-2. Rockies have lost 18 of the last 23 games in this ballpark, down 10-7 here in the 8th. already. Wind up by the right-hander, swinging and a miss. He got Walters, and he struck out 5 of the 6 Rockies hitters he has seen in this series. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 10-7 still. Cardinals lead.
Cardinals as we go bottom 8. There's the Stan Musial statue outside of third base. This day in the big leagues in 1962, Stan the Man, career hit number 3,431. First in the NL. He passed Honus Wagner. That record had stood since 1917, and he got that hit, Spilly, at Dodger Stadium the first year it opened up off of Ron Peranowski on this day in 1962. If you're wondering, his hit total ended up being 18-15 on the road, 18-15 at home, the 36-30. He's 4th all time, and right underneath that statue, there's 18-15 bricks for home, 18-15 for away underneath it. Pretty neat if you come to St. Louis. Check that out.
It's good stuff. I remember pictures of Sportsman Park.
This is going to be a base hit for Colton Wong on the infield. Just slapped the ball the other way against Scott Olberg, and Story doing all he could defensively, couldn't get him.
I think back to Stan the Man, and Sportsman's Park was a very small baseball field, and friendly confines would probably be similar to Philadelphia and Citizens Bank. That's where Stan the Man, you look at the numbers he put up and you go, well, of course he put up those numbers. Look at how small of a ballpark he hit in it. Nope. The guy can hit anywhere.
Same way on the road. Brandon Moss up there, and at first base, nobody out. Swing and foul that one back. Strike 1 on Moss, who is 0 for 1 with a walk. And this date, 2011, Jason Giambi, second oldest player to hit 3 home runs in a game. Remember that one? That was in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Sportsman Park, Citizens Bank. That was great. I was on the bench for that game.
Were you? Remember, he came up a 4th time. He was looking for another home run. We talked to him after the game, and I said, "Were you looking for a home?" He said, "I was swinging as hard as I possibly could to get that 4th one." And I knew I was in trouble when I started swinging too hard.
Well, the Phillies fans are so funny because there's somebody sitting right behind home plate, and he was yelling at the Phillies pitchers, "How are you letting Giambi do this? He's so old."
It's a wild pitch thrown over the head of Walters, and down to second base goes Wong. Scott Olberg just needs to iron some things out, get more consistent.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to see another run tacked up. It's 7-10 right now, or 10-7. still in this game. I know one more run doesn't seem like much when you're down 3, but there's a huge difference between 3 and 4 runs late in the game.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Brandon Moss. It's back to that game in Philadelphia. Giambi, I remember it was raining. It was raining the whole game, and Giambi hit those 3 homers. Cold and rainy. Just the way Giambi liked it. And chase there, 3-2. Fourth inning for the Cardinals tonight was the big one. They scored 6 times. They scored 3 in the first, came back with 6 in the 4th inning. And Rockies trying to work their way back in the game. Got the Story home run, 10-7, ball 4. Let's look at our CenturyLink. What's next? And the Pittsburgh series for the Rockies is what is next. Tomorrow night, game 1. Eddie Butler gets the ball for the Rockies. Garrett Cole, and then Tyler Chatwood on Saturday afternoon. Jonathan Neese, and then Chad Bettis on Sunday against Juan Nicasio, the former Rocky. Nicasio getting a start, pitching decently these days for Pittsburgh.
He really has, and I heard it's Ray Searage is the pitching coach with Pittsburgh, and Nicasio had the horrible accident where he broke his neck at Coors Field. Again, another situation where I was at the game for that one. Well, Nicasio, the way he was following through the years, was still afraid to get hit again. And Searage said, "You're not going to get hit again. You have to trust yourself." And this is still in the big leagues after being back in the big leagues with the Rockies and the Dodgers, and has closed him off and is now pitching more in line. And it's good to see the success that Nicasio is having.
One on Matt Carpenter's had the big night tonight. Pair of doubles against the Rockies. First 2 hits in the series. And good to see for Juan Nicasio. Just a wonderful young man. A little inconsistent last year with the Dodgers, but now a starter in rotation for Pittsburgh. We wish him well, except on Sunday.
Just like the Cardinal fans when they saw Descalso.
Right. The end of his bat. 1-2 on Carpenter. Bottom of the 8th, 10-7. St. Louis with the lead. The Rockies at 11-9.
And the Cardinals right in the perfect situation to put this game away from the Rockies. If they find a way to tack on another run or 2, comfort level for them and for both sides, it's pretty much nail in the coffin.
Got the man that I'm sure they feel good about at the plate. Trevor Rosenthal is warming in the St. Louis pen. Bounced up there, got away from Walters. Runners advance. Second wild pitch of the inning thrown by the pitcher, Scott Oberg. Second and third, nobody out.
They're trying to prevent both runners from moving up, and slider down and in. Walters tries his best to keep the ball in front of him, but it kicks off. You can see the read. Great read by Colton Wong, and Brandon Moss following Wong's lead, taking second base as well. Now you can get 2 runs without even needing a hit. Ground ball to the right side, scores a run, moves Moss to third, and you can have another sac fly or ground ball out and score 2 runs.
3-2 now on Matt Carpenter. Infield is in, trying to cut the run off. Nothing happening in the Rockies pen. This one up to Scott Oberg to try to get out of. Diaz on deck. Oh, hit that one well to right center field. That's trouble. That is gone. Where is it? Yep, that's a home run.
That's a lot of fireworks for a triple.
signaled a home run for Carpenter. That's a 3-run shot. And the Cardinals do some heavy damage in the bottom of the 8th.
One swing that pretty much puts the game away for the Rockies. Cardinals now 7 for 10 tonight with runners in scoring position. That's some numbers that are going to be difficult to swallow. Fastball up in the zone. Matt Carpenter, great approach at the plate tonight, both off John Gray and off Justin Miller, and now off Scott Oberg.
6th home run the last 11 games for Matt Carpenter. Walt Weiss might challenge this one. I think he wants to maybe have that home run, what was called a home run, looked at again. See, he's out to talk to home plate umpire Lance Barksdale. So what we saw, we talked about already with Scott Oberg, is a walk, a wild pitch, and all of a sudden there's a long home run. That's what you saw there with Scott Oberg, that same sequence that we saw a couple of times last year. Let's take a look at the home run again, or the hit by Carpenter. Looks like it's definitely a home run.
Yeah, it looks like there's a fan that tried to catch it and he missed it. Even brought his glove.
Yeah, no look on the replay. This is a home run for Carpenter. Clearly a 3-run shot.
And it hits the bleachers in the back. And you can see the guy with the glove. I like the Cubs fan last week where the ball, home run, your left field bleacher creature hit him in the hands. He missed it. He was so upset then for missing it, he took his shirt off and screamed at the heavens.
I don't think I saw that one. I might have to go look it up though.
Well, 5 runs tonight have scored that where the guys have walked or been hit by a pitch.
Swinging a foul tip there, held on 1-2.
You weren't even that close. No, he's pretending like I was right there, was going to catch it. No, you have it on video.
I missed it, but did you see me on TV with the great effort?
It's a really large phone.
That is a large phone. Pop up, foul ground for Reynolds, and he'll take care of it. 1 down.
He has his first baseman's glove.
I was going to say the same thing. Now, if I would have brought my infielder's glove or my outfielder's glove, I would have had it. Still seems pretty happy, though. Matt Holliday is 1 for 4 tonight. A hit back in the first inning. Ball 1 to him. 13-7, the Rockies trail. Always a great hitter against the Rockies. .385 for his career. It's his former mates. Ball 2 thrown by Scott Oberg. Interesting. Miguel Cabrera has a .411 batting average lifetime against the Rockies. And Wally Joyner, .399.
Wally World.
Yep. He could hit a little bit. Fouled away. And the big lead now for the Cardinals means Trevor Rosenthal didn't have to work tonight.
It's going to be Keycat for his warming up, the lefty. Matt Carpenter tonight, 6 RBIs is a career high.
2 doubles and a home run. He hadn't had a hit in the first 2 games against the Rockies. Had a couple loud outs, a couple long fly ball outs. But doing damage tonight at the top of the order. What a hitter. Strike 3 called. No argument there from Matt Holliday. 2 outs. One more to go for Oberg in the inning. It's Stephen Piscotty. He's had the good night tonight. He's been on base 4 times. Got hit by a pitch in the 7th. And 3 hits prior to that. 3 for 3 with the 2 doubles. 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Strike 1. Rockies will have 9, 1, and 2 in their order coming up in the top of the 9th. Play off the handle of the bat. 0-2.
Keeping an eye on Jorge De La Rosa. He just finished his 6th inning of work. 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs. He's at 82 pitches.
Well, that's not bad for 6 innings.
No,
better.
So curious to see if he'll go out for the 7th.
Yeah. Much better. Looking for efficiency. Looks like he's got it the last several innings. Bounced up there that time by Scott Oberg. 1-2. 3 runs are in the inning for the Cardinals. 2 outs. Nobody on. Cardinals scored 3 runs total first 2 games. They have 13 tonight. Breaking ball missed away. 2-2. John Gray goes 3 1/3. Christian Bergman 2/3 of an inning. Justin Miller had 2 scoreless. And now Scott Oberg working his 2nd inning. Now back. Fastball 94 miles an hour. From the stretch, Scott Oberg has the sign. And his 2-2 pitch. Missed it high and away. Full count on Piscotty. 43,683 tonight. They always have drawn well in St. Louis. This year, no exception. Beautiful ballpark. Good, solid team again. They've gone the postseason the previous 4 years. Looking to go 22-19 this year with a win tonight. Fouled away again off the bat of Piscotty.
Tony Walters taking another foul ball off the body. He's been punished today behind the plate. Even at the plate with foul balls off his ankle and off his shin. It's not been a very kind day to Tony Walters or the pitching staff to the Rockies today. Let's see where that one gets reached.
It's a long night behind the plate as well when you have the opposition with 13 runs and 12 hits and you get hit by foul balls like he has. He's had to chase a couple back to the screen as well and wild pitches.
Well, they're going to bring Keith Duggar out to take a look. He's still shaking his head. I wonder if Lance noted something behind the plate, if he asked him a question and Tony didn't respond the right way, or that's the beauty of baseball. It's a partnership between the umpire and the catchers, and they protect each other. You got to tip your cap to Lance for asking a question, making sure that the player's okay.
Here's the Rockies' regular catcher, Nick Hundley. He's been on the disabled list because of a concussion. Out now with a different injury, oblique strain. Catchers got beat up a little bit this year for the Rockies. Leave Walters out there. Tony says he's all right. Keith Duggar and the manager Walt Weiss back in the dugout. The count is full to Piscotty. Oberg steps off. The rubber time given to the hitter. That one It's hit well to right center, but Charlie Blackmon's got some room out there. Ball's going to die in right center this time, and he'll make the grab. And the inning comes to an end. 3-run home run, though, for Matt Carpenter. Puts his team up 13-7. Colorado Rockies baseball and Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by Volkswagen. Let's go back to our studio in Denver. Jenny and Corey Sullivan standing by. All right, Jenny, thank you. Corey will stand by for the post-game show. As we got a new pitcher facing the Rockies, Ryan Rayburn will get an at-bat tonight. And no closer needed tonight for the Cardinals. We're going to go with Dean Kekeffer.
All right, Kekeffer is another guy that we've been talking about. You talk about the Cardinals way and people that surprise you. Kekeffer was the 1,099th pick. And here he is in the big leagues, earned his way. Will not walk anybody. We saw him the other night. Good control, a little bit of deception, fastball, changeup, slider.
Left, you'll start with Ryan Rayburn, then Charlie Blackmon and Trevor Story. All one. New shortstop as well, actually at third base, is Tejada, Ruben Tejada defensively. And Matt Carpenter now playing first base for the Cardinals.
They've actually talked about moving Matt Carpenter to first base when Johnny Peralta comes back.
That one's hit fair. It's grabbed by the third baseman and over to first base. So Carpenter receives and Tejada makes the play at third. One down.
Jorge De La Rosa is out for his 7th inning of work.
Good for him. Just what the Rockies needed from him. Just what he needed to get done tonight was be more efficient, and he's done that working in the 7th inning. So one down, top of the 9th inning. Charlie Blackmon's up there. Charlie is 1 for 4. Kekeffer delivers a strike to Charlie Blackmon. Cardinals will stay home and stay against this division. Got Arizona coming in, and then a key series next week against the Cubs.
A little bit disappointing watching this Rockies team in this series in St. Louis, where you had a chance to win a series. Win the first game with Chad Bettis. Last night, Wainwright finding his stuff, feeling dangerous. tonight, answering back against Michael Wacha, who for the first 2 innings looked unhittable. And Rockies answered with 2 runs in the 3rd inning, both with 2 outs, and then answered with a great 4-run 4th inning, only to cough it right back up. And you had the guy on the mound that you were hoping were going to take the bull by the horns and get this series win.
Yeah, you'd think, well, if you start this game and you're guaranteed 7 runs and John Gray is on the mound, you feel pretty good about things, but wasn't meant to be tonight. The offensive explosion for the Cardinals on 13 runs, 12 hits. Blackman, a ground ball hit towards shortstop. Diaz behind second base. Close play, but he's got Blackman at first. 2 down. Last time the Rockies won a series here, 2009, that playoff team. And on to Pittsburgh, a tough Pittsburgh team, and the Boston Red Sox after that, they're playing well. Here's a bright spot for the Rockies tonight. 3 hits for Trevor Story, including home run number 12 back in the 7th inning. Had a 2-run double and a single, so 3 RBIs tonight for Story. Previous home run to tonight was May 5th, so it's been a while for Trevor. Let's take a look again at that solo shot, 7th inning.
Well, different chapter, new story. Hanging curveball, driving it out to left field. The strength and just the quality at bats that we saw from Trevor tonight. This ball's ripped to right field,
but right at the right fielder, and that is the ball game. Well, the Rockies with some hot offensive players, and the Cardinals tonight dropped this game 3 by a count of 13-7. In the process, they lose the series 2-1. Looked like with the Rockies pitching the way it had been, especially the starters, a great chance to win a series, but wasn't happening tonight. John Gray takes a loss. He's now 1-2 on the year, and the win goes to Lions, his first win this year, and the Rockies go down to defeat 13-7. Let's look at our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. We'll look at Matt Carpenter. What a night tonight. 3 extra base hits for Matt Carpenter, including a 3-run home run. He had a pair of doubles and a career high 6 RBIs tonight. The backbreaker was the 3-run home run late in the ball game in that 8th inning for Matt Carpenter. The leadoff man tonight was 6 RBIs for the Cardinals. There was a 3-run